opposed? My name is Matt McNamara. I'd like to introduce the board to you. To my right is Ken Foreman, who is the vice chairman of the board. To his right is Patty Johnson, who is a voting member of the board. To my left is Scott Zielinski, who is a voting member, but also this evening will be acting as clerk. And to his left is David Haddad, who is an associate member of the board, but will be a voting member of the board this evening. The far table is Sari Budrow, who is our zoning administrator, and Melanie Matthews, who is our recording secretary. I'd also like to recognize David Bragger, a member of the Board of Selectmen, who is also our liaison to the Board of Selectmen. This evening we do have 4 new hearings. And just a couple of comments about our process, because some of you are probably new to us. First, I would like to have you silence any cell phones or electronic devices that you might have, so that we will not be disturbed during the hearings. I would also ask that you show respect and courtesy during the process. If I've identified somebody to come to the lectern, please give them your attention and listen to them, and you will have the opportunity as well. We attempt to provide a full and fair hearing on all applications by gathering testimony and listening to all applicants as we go through this. So with that, I just want to explain what we're going to do tonight and ask the board for its approval. As I said, we have 4 new hearings. The first will be a hearing on the Thayer application at 31 Mares Pond Drive. We do expect our town manager, Julian Suso, to join us this evening around 7 p.m. to review some information that the board had discussed with the Board of Selectmen. So we're going to table each of the individual hearings after the first one till later in the evening. We expect the delay to only be about 15 to 20 minutes. And then we'll reopen each of those hearings. So those of you who are sitting here waiting, I apologize, but it's a way of providing a little bit of professional courtesy to our town manager. So with that, we will open the first hearing, which is application 77-12 for Mr. Thayer, and I'll ask the clerk to read that into the record for us.
Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Floyd L. Thayer of Pocasset appealed the determination of the Building Commissioner pursuant to MGL 40A 8 and 15 that 31 Mares Pond Drive, Falmouth, Mass. is not a buildable lot.
And our procedure, and I know that we have somebody new, is that we'll read all of the files into the record just as that. We'll ask the applicant to do a brief presentation for us. Then the clerk will read some updated material that we have in the file, and then the board will ask questions. So, Linda, I know that you haven't been before the board before, so if you'd be kind enough to join us at the lectern, just introduce yourself for the record because you are being televised. Just briefly explain, I know that it's sort of last minute that you're filling in for the applicant, and we'll try to help you through the whole process. So if you could just briefly, again, after you'd introduce yourself, just explain what you're trying to accomplish here. We'll read some information and we'll ask some questions, okay?
Okay. My name is Linda P. Gill, and I'm representing Floyd Thayer, who could not attend tonight. He is quite elderly. He's in his 90s and he's not feeling well. We did apply for a letter of buildability for this 31 Mares Pond Drive, and Palladio Gore decided that it was an unbuildable lot. So therefore, that's why we're here, to sort of explain to you and under what number that we would like to appeal to. First of all, the lot has been owned since 1970, and it's been owned by a single person who has not owned any contiguous lots. So it was sole ownership with no contiguous lots. Second of all, we would like to appeal under 240-66C3. Mares Pond does not have tidal flow. The property in question is 300 feet away from Mares Pond. It's actually across the street and on a knoll. And we realized that possibly we would have to be tested. The water would have to be continuously tested, and therefore that would probably be what we would have to agree upon. And that's pretty much what he would like.
You did a great job. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. We're going to ask Mr. Zelinski to review the referrals from other town departments.
Okay.
And any correspondence there might be, and then we'll ask some questions.
Okay.
Health, no comment. Concom, no work proposed.
It's just the cover sheet.
Yeah. And, do we have to read this one?
No,
And that's it, right?
there's no correspondence.
No, there's
No.
no correspondence.
Clerk in training, it's real hard.
Sorry.
But, you know, what can you do?
Short file.
All right. All right, we're going to start with asking some questions.
Okay.
David, do you want to start?
Yep. How are you, Linda?
I'm well, thank you.
You said Mr. Thayer wanted to construct a single-family residence or sell the property?
Well, first of all, he had the intentions when he purchased the property to build a house for himself. Being elderly, I sort of questioned him when he purchased the property, but he has a lot of vim and vigor, and he decided he'd like to go ahead with it. Well, time has passed, and he is not healthy at all. So he is under oxygen and everything else, and he doesn't seem to think now that he'd be able to do it. So therefore, he'd like to sell it. In order to sell it, he would like it so that everything is clear on the table and better for the next person that purchases
Yep,
it.
no, I understand
So
that.
he wants to clear up everything.
And just one other quick thing. How many square feet is the lot?
15,500, I believe.
Okay. That's it, thank you, sir.
Okay, Scott?
Good. Thank
Yeah, oh, great. Ken?
You mentioned that had been in contiguous ownership from 1970. Was that the date that that subdivision was created?
Had not been in contiguous ownership.
It was not in contiguous ownership,
Okay,
okay?
all right. So when did he purchase it?
He purchased it last year,
In 11?
correct.
Okay.
Mhm. It was in a purchase and sale at the end of 2011.
So the main issue is that you're in a water resource protection district, is that?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. I think that's it for me at this time.
Okay, Patty?
Did you do the form that they have?
Yes, I did,
You did.
yes. Mhm.
Okay. All right. I didn't have any problem. You showed,
We'll just leave it to the questions right now, okay?
yeah,
All right.
I have,
Actually, I'm going to ask a couple of questions of Sri, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay. As Linda said, we know there's 15,000 plus square.
15,500.
We know that Mayor's Pond is not an estuary. Was there any information provided regarding the public or private wells within 300 feet?
That is something that they're going to have to prove prior to getting a building permit.
Okay, so,
And that's something that the Board of Health would have on record, and I did explain that to Ms. Gill.
okay, great. And again, depending on what the board may do, it's a requirement in the bylaw, but if it's going to be contingent upon that,
Well, the decision from this board is either to uphold or overturn.
Right.
But the Board of Health and the Building Department will follow that bylaw.
okay, and I don't have any other questions either, Linda. But let's see if there's anyone in the audience that has particular interest in this application. Is anyone here that is either opposed, in favor, or just has general questions on this? Again, this is an appeal of the Building Commissioner's decision that this lot is not buildable. If this board upholds this application, to overturn that decision and allow the lot to be built upon. Any questions, comments? Okay.
I ask one or two more?
Please do.
Is this lot similar in size to the lots surrounding?
Yes, it is.
And
And,
topography?
yes, there are homes on that side that are all on that same level of height. In fact, one just sold down the street or put under agreement down the street.
But not a lot of them are vacant.
This is about the only one left.
There's one other
One other?
at the tip, not near, not adjoining our budding this one.
So basically, this was part of a subdivision.
C.H.
And
Newton.
this particular lot was not developed when all the rest of the,
Correct. The gentleman who owned it prior is elderly as well.
okay, thanks.
Anything else from anyone? All right, the board have enough information to make a decision? Then I would entertain a motion to close this hearing.
Make, second.
Mr. Foreman, Mr. Zelinski, all those in favor of closing this hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous vote. Action from the board.
Move to overturn
All
the
those in-
Move
commissioners.
to approve the application, which would overturn the building commissioner's decision.
Second that.
Approve appeal.
Approve the appeal.
Mr. Foreman, Mr. Zelinski, are there any conditions? There wouldn't be.
You can't,
That's right.
yes.
There wouldn't be.
You have to uphold or overturn.
All those in favor of motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous vote. And I think, just as we went through that, Sari, as you can put into that decision, the final questions that were asked in terms of, it's similar to the other lots, and it meets the criteria of 240-66.
It's all residential appeal.
Okay. Linda, great job. You're welcome back anytime.
I'd like to thank you on behalf of Mr. Floyd
You're
Thayer.
entirely welcome. All right. That went a little bit more quickly than I thought, so I think we'll continue to move ahead with our next application. And we will, because Mr. Suso isn't arriving until about 7. So our next application is 71-12 for Richard and Ellen McCarthy. And I will ask the clerk to read that into the record for us.
Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Richard and Ellen McCarthy of North Falmouth applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for special permit pursuant to Sections 240-3C and 240-69E of the Code of Falmouth to make renovations and additions with increased lot coverage to the pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling on property located at 46 Ocean View Ave, North Falmouth, Mass.
Joe, welcome.
Good evening. Joel Kubik with Holmes & McGrath. Mr.
Joe, could I ask you?
Yes.
I'm sorry to impose upon you. Just pull it up a little.
Sure.
Yeah, if you can, you're probably better at it than I am, being an engineer. And we need our viewing public to be able to admire your presentation.
Sure. Mr. McCarthy and his wife are here. They are the owners of the lot. Ms. Benoli should be here shortly. She's the architect that helped design the addition to this existing two-story house that's in the New Silver Beach area of North Falmouth. It's a 11,556 square foot lot. It's served by town sewer, town water. There's an existing shed that's also there. The lot drops off towards the back, towards the East Avenue Road that's east of the property. This is, you may know, New Silver Beach is a fairly small lotted community. There's different sizes of existing homes throughout it. What the applicant is proposing is to extend their house, the two-story house, into this area here and include a garage area with a driveway entering it. It's no increase in the number of bedrooms. It shouldn't affect any of the views or vistas of anyone in the neighborhood because of the changing topography off the backside, and the existing home that's over there is much lower than this house. I believe there were some letters that were submitted to the board that were in support of this from the adjacent abutters. The area is also, there's a flood zone to the east side, which constrains the development of this lot to be in the area that it's in. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Joe, before I ask the clerk to read into the record, I know in communicating with our zoning administrator, you've reviewed our policy on coverage.
Yes.
And you didn't seem to address any of the issues in terms of
My apologies.
size and bulk, et cetera. So rather than have,
I'll
get into all those questions,
I'll
I
add
might
that
want to
in
address
now.
it.
I had included this with the original application. If anyone doesn't have one, I can give you another copy, but there are several homes in this immediate neighborhood that are already over the 25% lot coverage. The lot coverage that we're proposing is 24.99. There are several homes in the area that are much more than that. And in the greater neighborhood, the whole New Silver area, there are houses that are similar in bulk and extent of the proposed addition that's going to go onto this existing house.
Okay. And so we'll ask the clerk to review our referrals, and I know there's some correspondence that you mentioned that we'll take a look at.
Water, no comment. Planning, no comment. Natural resources, no comment. Health department, that they're on town sewer. Concom had originally sent a memo over, or their comment was that it was in the flood zone and specified what to do, and then retracted that, noting that it was her mistake, and the proposed project is not in a flood zone. Stormwater would probably still be contained, per the building department, on the site. Engineering, no comment. And we have 6 letters of, that are in favor of the application. Did you want me to read? And sir?
Any opposed?
I don't see any opposed.
So 6 letters in favor, and that's basically it.
Yep, thanks.
Okay. We'll come down to the other end of the table. Patty?
Where was the floodplain usually? Where is it located?
It's this blue line that's here.
What elevation?
Well, the flood zone elevation, base flood elevation is elevation 15, which is actually further down here, but you'd have to go through the process of applying to FEMA to make them adjust their line to that actual contour on the ground. So this is more restrictive.
Excuse me, Chairman.
No, there's not.
We can't hear Ms. Johnson.
All right. I asked where the flood, I wanted to understand where the floodplain line was, which is blue on that
Mhm.
map. And none of the addition is in that.
That's correct.
You said yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
No.
Correct.
All right. I'm probably going to have some other questions.
Okay. Go right ahead.
Bedroom count remains unchanged?
Correct. We had Mr. Kerrigan walk through the site and just verify that we gave him the existing floor plans, the proposed floor plans, and he was fine with the fact that it's on town sewer and it's not going to be affected.
I believe you have on this GIS data sent us, there's 17 lots that...
In this immediate vicinity,
In
yes.
the immediate
Yeah.
vicinity that have lot coverages exceeding 25%. Do you happen to know the average lot size and the average footprint of those homes?
I don't have those specific numbers. I mean, these lots vary. Some of them are combined lots, such as this one. These are mostly 5,000 square foot lots. I mean, a lot of these other houses right in the area are up around 39%, 33% of that 5,000, so it varies. And again, this is from GIS data, but.
Right, but I mean, that's what we have to work with.
Yep.
But there is information on the footprints of those. The footprint of this house would be what?
I have that actually right. And if you look at the larger extent of the neighborhood in the new Silver Beach area, I've got a larger plan that shows that there are other houses. The proposed house with the addition is 2,890 square feet. And that's right here. There's Wild Harbor Road. There's a house with 3,437 square feet, again, from GIS information. Another one over 3,000, another one over 3,000. There's another one down here over almost 4,000, 3,600, 5,600. The tea room down here is almost 4,000 square feet. So there are much bigger footprint areas in this greater neighborhood. I mean, it depends on how far you want to extend that, because there are some large homes on Wild Harbor Road, which we're only a couple streets off of too. Those are bigger lots, but it's in keeping with the general neighborhood bulk size. I mean, there's a variety of homes out there. Obviously, this is an older area of town, which has seen some growth, some change throughout the time here. So I'd be happy to give this to the board if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, from, my question really relates to
We just take one.
getting a little bit of extra information beyond just lot coverage as a percentage, but also the size the mean size of those houses.
Right.
And their lots, because you could have very small lots and very small houses that are exceeding.
That's
lot
true,
coverage.
yeah, that's why I prepared that one. I wasn't aware of the board's new procedural rule until after I had applied, so I apologize for not getting that information to you sooner.
Okay, well, at this point, I think that's helpful for me.
Okay, Scott?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Could you be more specific? This project mirrors any house on the road that it's on, though? That's what I looked at, was the road that it was on, and I tried to find something that would be comparable to what was proposed. Could you give me any specific properties on this road that is comparable to the house that's being built on the road?
Not specifically. I mean, this has been changing over time. Some have been bigger than others throughout, the development of this whole area. So on this specific road, this is one of the larger ones that is on Ocean View Avenue right there. Again, as you can see from that map, there are some just around the corner. So there is a variety of footprints and bulk sizes and heights, and I mean, there's different topography that each house is trying to work with. So I know that there's some on the street next door which are almost 3 stories. So there's a variety of different homes in the area.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman.
David?
So your lot coverage, you said it was 14.9, it's going to 20, basically 25%? And with the structures, the parking, the paving, up another, 14%, so, correct?
Yes.
And I just want to talk about that house to the south. I think it's number 52. I noticed it had that drive-under garage, so I see you have dry wells on here, but are you going to do any grade changes
No,
to
there's
keep
no-
that runoff?
There's dry wells proposed, but, I mean, we have to deal with any runoff off of the driveway, keep that on site, and obviously the roof runoff, so,
You know what I'm talking, where you have the existing shed now?
Yes.
that area?
Yeah, that's going to be taken away, but are you saying there's a runoff problem going
I
on
don't know.
Bluff Avenue?
I'm curious if they, if you thought of that now. Being
Well,
that
we're
that
gonna be-
shed's gonna be leaving, you're not gonna have much.
We're going to be collecting the roof runoff, and that's
What,
taking
11?
away some of, the surface runoff that would have been hitting the grass in that area, or the plantings over there, so now it's going to be collected and put into the ground, so that I think that's a benefit to the area.
No further questions for now, thank you.
Joel, oh, sure.
I'm sorry.
Scott's going to ask another question
Sure.
first.
Joel, when I was out there on my site visit, I noticed there was considerable shading, being that the lot behind this house sits down in a hollow.
Correct.
Do you anticipate, well, what do you think the effects of this, the greater expanse of this house is going to be on that lot below it? Do you think it's going to encompass the entire lot now in
The
shade?
shading? Not throughout the day, I mean, maybe at some point in the later evening, but I know there's a lot of trees over in that area already, so there is significant shading that's already occurring there. Never mind, what might happen in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Actually, I don't have any questions, Joel. I'll have some comments later on, but I don't have any questions.
Well, I had one more, because this is pre-existing non-conforming,
Correct.
and could you explain the nature of the
The nonconformity,
and whether or not the addition in any way makes that nonconformity worse?
It does not make it worse. There is an existing nonconformity to the front step, which is going to be removed, and a side deck on the north side of the house, which is also going to be removed. So that was less than the 10-foot setback to the north sideline. That's going to be removed. Now the house is going to meet all the setbacks to the property lines.
So the nonconformities will actually be
Taken away,
limited?
yes.
Okay, that's good information.
So the nonconformities will be eliminated, but then you're asking for...
The setback nonconformities, correct.
Not the setback, but the increase in the lot coverage.
True, yes, we're asking for that, the increase, but we're taking away the nonconformities to the setbacks, correct.
Sari, any questions?
I do. According to this locus, this is the largest property in the area. Is that correct?
It depends what you consider the area, I guess. I know there are,
Well,
number 53, I believe.
Looking from Grove Street
Yep.
south,
Yep,
from Arena Road north, and east and west of those that are but Wild Harbor. I mean, this appears to be, and this is
there.
within 300, more than 300 feet away, they appear. There's one other,
Number 53, just south and across Ocean View is, I believe is a little bit larger.
right, the one
It's a lot
that's
area.
right on the corner that's
Swings
got
around.
actually 3 front yards.
Yep.
As far as, do you know the square footage of that versus what the square footage of
I'm afraid I
this one
don't have it
is?
with me, no.
Because that's a different configuration totally to where it's going to be very limited on bulk and possibly even height. But where this one's a double lot, and it appears to be, looking at this locus, if the board can see it on your plot plan, this appears to be the largest lot. So the lot coverage that you gave on the surrounding areas, those are smaller lots, possibly smaller houses.
Most of those are, and that's why I created that other plan that I just handed out to them. when I
Do you
thought-
have any photos of any of the houses that show how close they are to the street, to where is the bulk right in your face type of
The one right
situation?
next door, number 42, I have a picture of that one, which is much closer to the street.
Joel, you want to bring through?
He's got one.
Thank you.
Okay.
So there's the existing one that we're talking about. And there's number 42 looking just past. You can see it's much closer to the street than number 46.
Thank you, Joel.
You're welcome.
And Joe, before I go to the public, you said the same number of bedrooms. What are those?
Sure that gets stamped as well.
This is
Do both.
It's 5, correct? 5 bedrooms.
That's what I kind of just wanted to make
Yes,
sure we got
yes.
it for the record. All right. I'm going to ask if there's anyone in the audience that is opposed to this application, and I'll ask for those that are in favor and those that have any general comments or questions. So anyone here that's opposed to this particular application, which is the increase of lot coverage? Okay, anyone here in favor? Anyone? Yeah, well, we'll make sure the applicants get recognized. Anyone else that wants to come up and speak in favor? Okay. Anyone, sir? No, I thought you would.
Oh, no, I just took it back.
Denise?
Yes.
Did you want to?
Can I just make a couple real quick comments?
Let me, before you make comments, I just want to see if there's anyone else in the public. So in favor, we've got that. We asked for opposed. Anyone, just any questions or comments? All right, Denise, you're coming up on behalf of the applicant?
Yes.
All right.
I'm Denise Benoli, I'm the architect for this project, and, I'm just on the fly trying to answer some of your questions, but just in general, as far as projects that I work on, I mean, not that you're just going to take my opinion, but I do think it's I have thought it's a reasonable project when you talk about things like shading and things like that. I think it's important to keep in mind that the whole back addition that we're doing is a single-story addition with the same low-pitched roof that we have around the rest of the structure. The highest point of the new building is no higher than the existing building. Unlike other properties that even I've worked on in the area, one is just diagonally, kind of the two corners, I think it would be 19 East Avenue, but the two back corners of the property abut, that's another house that I had worked on that we'd gone through the board, and we were more lot coverage and also a lot closer to the property lines. I think one advantage that this house is, we're not that close. There's Bluff Avenue on that side, so there's a fairly good distance to the neighbor on the side, and there's a good distance to the neighbor in the back. The other one's another one that I worked on West Avenue. I mean, we were literally 6 feet from the back property line. I mean, the houses, you could almost take your hands and touch from one house to the other. So I felt that this was a reasonable project in the massing with the size of lot that we have and the fact that we have the taller pieces of the house in the center, and really we're kind of sloping down that same roof, which is a similar style that you see throughout that neighborhood. I think the house is consistent, even with the very big bulky houses that are on the water that need to be lifted up. I felt that this house was definitely in keeping with the neighborhood, and although it's getting a little wider, it's not, the massing I thought was kept to a reasonable design. So, I felt when you're asking questions about the shading and the effect on that other house, we're a good distance from that house with a pretty good slope off over there, and we have Bluff Avenue as more of a buffer. So, I felt like it was a reasonable design in watching the massing of the neighborhood and keeping consistent with the existing house, not going taller than, and all of that. Okay. I think that was most of what you asked.
All right, thanks, Denise.
You're welcome.
Board have any other questions? All right, I think I know that I at least want to have some discussion on this one before we move forward, so if anyone else wants to start that, you're welcome to. Go ahead, Ken.
Yes, anyone else? The one important bit of information that I feel we need to really get a handle on and discuss before we proceed with this is, it's one thing to say that there's 17 homes that exceed the lot coverage, but if they're all much smaller homes on much smaller lots, or where there's because the lots are so small, a real need to consider that the homes might have to in fact exceed lot coverage, then it's apples to oranges, and I just want to be sure we're not. Our criteria really is that it should fit into the neighborhood, and want to be sure that we've got apples to apples.
Yeah, I'll jump right on that, Joel. I honestly have to say, I don't think that there's enough or adequate information that's provided to us to make a decision. To only show those houses that are over the 25% is basically saying that that's what the neighborhood will be. If you just show what 25% is, then we'll be approving everything up to 25%. There's absolutely no information regarding any of the lots that are under 25%. So we don't have a good flavor, even from, I mean, there's number 23, East Avenue, the one that we were talking about that's lower down. What's the coverage on that lot? I mean, none of that information is provided to us, and, you know, again, our policy is, you know, available to you. I think it was provided to the applicant at the time. And I keep reading this to folks that come in because I get the sense that sometimes folks aren't reading it. It's important for the board to be able to visualize how the completed project will blend into the neighborhood. In summary, a simple percentage calculation is less beneficial than a comparison of size, height, and bulk. But here we don't even have a percentage calculation to compare to. So, I mean, we've said time and time again, and I know that our zoning administrator has suggested to applicants to review the tapes of some of the decisions that we've made. And we've said, I think, several times recently that the new 20% is not 25. It requires a special permit. Again, it's just my feeling, but I don't think we even have enough information to be able to compare this project to what's in the neighborhood. You've gone as far away as over to the Crystal Springs Ave area, picking out property that's over the 25%, or some that may be over. Well, these are, I think, are mostly over the 25%. But what about all those little folks? We don't know what they are. And so the neighborhood is a combination of those things. The neighborhood is not all over 25%. And so I think we have to take that into consideration, in addition to the bulk, et cetera, that we've talked about. That's just my thought. I don't have enough information.
I live in the neighborhood.
I know.
I've been by the house 3 or 4 times trying to get a sense of how this will look. My initial, well, a couple of reasons why I kept going back, because I kept going back on East Avenue and looking at it from up there. And I think one of the things that is pretty important, and that was because I was concerned about looking up at this thing. It's actually, this backyard here is beautiful, and it gives a lot of separation, and there are a lot of trees in there, which they mentioned. So my feeling about how this back area looked down here, I was very comfortable with that, and that was my initial worry, was the site. The other thing that's difficult in this, particularly if you don't live in the neighborhood and you don't understand it, even though this house was built in 1985. There's very few in that neighborhood that were built since 85. Like, I mean, I don't even think there are any, from my experience. I mean, I've lived here, you know. I don't like it. So that's hard for you to say, because there are some houses across here on Ocean View Avenue that are part of the original purchases that people made for like $675 in 1890, the late 1890s. I mean, 2 or 3 of those houses over there are the original houses from that period. So it's hard because you can't really fit this in when you've got these big, tall houses sitting on small lots across the street. I mean, they're the ones across the street there. I mean, you all probably saw them. They look a little different. Down the street, there's a new house that was built in the back of one of these lots down there. And it's, you know, so how is this neighborhood going to develop in the future?
Well, that's the issue.
That's the burden on this board.
Yeah.
And again, all I was trying to.
I don't believe you can shape it.
No, but what we have to do, I think, is, it's not up to us to shape it.
Well, I know, but that's sort
But
of
it's up-
social engineering or something.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is, when you don't even have the basic information.
Yes, I think you do need some more information.
And, you know, town meeting in its wisdom said lot coverage 20%. So,
This is a big.
and that was a reaction, I believe, to just the, you know, whole-scale transformation of all these old communities, a lot of smaller vacation homes into, you know, much larger homes. And did we want to see that townwide?
And I think and I know there's some comments here. Again, it comes down to the fact that it's trusted to 5 members to bring their thoughts, not just those who live in a neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
But, I mean, we don't represent neighborhoods, we represent
Oh,
the
yes.
town. And we have to be aware of this neighborhood, and it has to fit in. And that's, I think, why we spend so much time on the policy. And Joel, if you haven't seen the policy, I think it's really critical that you review it.
What I'm saying is fitting in is pretty hard
Yeah.
in this type of neighborhood. Because there's so many things. There's so many sizes, heights, lot sizes. This one is a double lot. But there's just everything.
And it could very well come down to more percentage calculation in this one than the appearance, like we've seen in other places. But again, I keep coming back to the fact that we don't even have the comparison of the percentages.
I'll agree to that, but I'm just telling you. I'm easy enough.
As the kids
How-
would say, just so you know.
Just so you know. All right, I'll say, just so you know. I'm happy to have more information
Yeah.
on this.
I know, Scott, you were trying.
The only heartburn I have with this is understanding that they alleviated some of the pre-existing non-conforming aspects of the project, but added almost 100% of volume to the house. Where are we with that? I mean, what is the lesser of the two evils? The small amount of, you're talking about a step that takes you out of nonconformity, but asking for almost 25% lot coverage from 14.9, I think, is substantial. Personally. Thank you.
Well, no, and I think that's a good point, because we've sort of been stuck over here in terms of having enough information, but if the applicant has to go back anyway to get additional information from us, we might as well let them know how we're feeling about the coverage, so, or the size of it, and Scott's done that.
I agree that we're gonna need them to go back with some lot coverage in the air. I think Scott was getting at it with his question, saying, as he was coming down that road, what are the, you know, not so much the abutters, but everybody on Ocean View Ave, what were they doing? And it is a neighborhood, like Patty said, that's starting to rebuild and remodel, so.
What about the
Great.
people that want to keep their houses the way they are,
No,
too?
that's
Though
fine.
we have to take them into consideration, right?
That's why we take it case by case.
You know, I got you.
So I would say if you came back with some more info on the lot coverage, bulk, that would help.
Joel, just one other second, let's just see if I can get the rest of the board. What about these sizes, you see it right now, even without knowing the lot coverage?
Well, I'm on the fence, to be honest. I mean, I think here you've got, as they've said, a double lot, and most of those houses that are exceeding 25% are not on double lots. And the design is nice. I don't see, I'm looking at the floor plan, and although there are no interior dimensions given, it doesn't look excessive to me. So I'm a little, I just like some more information before we commit. And I think it's important not only for this case, but obviously so that others with similar aspirations know exactly what the standard is that needs to be met. Because we're really asking for something above and beyond the permitted standard lot coverage.
Joel, I'm sorry I cut you off.
I was just going to point out, and I think you already know this, but a lot of those letters that you received are from direct abutters that are going to be looking at this all the time and have seen the plans and feel comfortable with how this is going to, it is going to change the neighborhood. It's a different house. I mean, it's an addition to an existing house, but it is going to change a bit of the character there. So they're in support of it. So I just wanted to point that out and have you take that into your consideration.
And I just, again, for your edification, my thoughts are sort of echo Ken's. I'm not overly concerned about the size of it because the double lot, I do like the nonconformities being reduced. It's just very hard to make a decision when you don't have the basic information that we ask for in our policy.
Understood.
All right. Anything else that the board might want from Joel if we're going to be continuing this with the applicant? Okay. It looks like it's that basic information. This was an improved bit of information compared to what we had in the file, but I don't think it has enough. So, Sari, do you have a date? Are we talking about November 29th?
Basically, yes, November 1st is absolutely packed. You have precinct meetings, town meeting, elections, and then Thanksgiving. So November's a tough month. The 1st, I just can't put another one on there. I really can't.
So I'll entertain a motion to continue this hearing until...
Could I just ask one other thing so I know what...
Absolutely, Joe.
I
And
understand.
please feel free to follow up with Sari
I certainly
after
will.
this meeting.
I understand that you want some more numbers, but you've been to the site, you've seen the character. I mean, you understand that there are a variety of different sized homes, you can tell from the plan.
And the pictures that you just gave us were also helpful. They would have been helpful a week before the hearing.
All right.
So,
I'm just wondering how this additional information is really going to help the board. I mean, a lot of those are obviously less than 25. Some are 20, 15. There's going to be a variety of them. But how are those numbers?
well, I think part of it is, as Mr. Foreman said, is that every decision that we make is instructive, although not a precedent, but instructive to other applicants. Also, we need it for the file. If we're making a decision, again, I think we're entrusted to go under special circumstances that are not substantially more detrimental than a special permit to go over 20%. And I think it would be a failure on this board's part if it didn't consider all of the information, knowing that there was information missing. We might have a sense that it might work, Joel. That's not the way this board works in terms of we have a sense that it might work, or we have a sense it might not work. You deserve more, and so does everyone else.
Understood.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, I mean, I can just tell you what, I come at it from a very data analytical sort of perspective. So if there were 50 homes in the neighborhood, I would love to know the number, sort of the size frequency distribution of those homes, if you will, with respect to our standard. How many are at 20, in terms of their footprint in square feet, as well as the percent lot coverage. There's two really different kinds of criteria. If we had any information on number of stories of height, and that's probably harder to get, but that's great too.
Again, I think it's your burden to demonstrate to us why this is a project that should be improved.
Understood.
But then, I can say, okay, this house is way over here and everybody else is like this. Or I can say, they're within the envelope.
And the curve, sure.
I have another comment.
Okay.
Contrary to Falmouth Heights, this particular neighborhood has many fewer year-round people, which I think is another factor in trying to figure out what to do. This is one of the reasons there are a lot of small houses there is because they are totally seasonal. Whereas I think in Falmouth Heights, there are a lot more year-round people. So you have to weigh that as a contributing factor in an area like the Heights.
Is that
versus this.
is that in the bylaw?
We're not,
No, but I'm just saying how you're
Comparing
sort of
different-
taking this I mean, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, I'm just saying, I think the application of the limitation, or the special permit of 20 to 25% varies, as everybody here admits, but in a sense, you have to throw in that other factor. Is this area ever gonna have a lot of year-round people? Or a lot of people are gonna want to make bigger houses or not make bigger houses? Or a lot of people are gonna say, well, I just like a little vacation house, and so therefore, you know. I think that's another factor.
In all fairness, I think that's exactly what happened at Falmouth Heights. I think people may have thought that years ago, and now look at it. So, you know, you have to, and that's not, the year-round versus seasonal residence is not something that you take under consideration in the bylaws.
And more
It's very
detrimental,
specific.
Is it more detrimental?
Substantially more. But again, what we're saying is that
Yeah.
it needs to blend into the neighborhood. And that's the neighborhood that exists now. It's not the neighborhood that might be there 20 years from now. And I think that's part of the restriction that town meeting put on it, 20%. But if it really can blend into the neighborhood, and it's not substantially more detrimental, and you consider all of these things like shading, bulk, et cetera, then planning board said we could do it. And so, I think.
I'm glad you have a chance to do it.
Right, and so I think that's the message to the applicant, is that, you know, look at how it blends in, give us the information. Yes, we drive around, but we're not engineers. I didn't go around counting the number of stories, et cetera. Do a job to show us how it can blend into the neighborhood. And, you know, I think the board was telling you, there's some good things going for this application. Okay? You clear?
Excuse me, could we look at the front of that file to see what our time frame is? Well, it's up to the board.
Well, you said we didn't have time to do it earlier than that.
Well, I only have a hearing scheduled for October 18th that is full and November 1st that is full.
Right.
I can't do any other ones in November due to elections, town meeting, and
Right, so it's
Thanksgiving.
November 29th. Yeah.
It's up to the board.
We have until
The December 5th.
squeak it in.
All right, so November 29th, everyone, all set?
Joel, are you
need a
available
motion?
that night?
I will be, yes.
Yeah, motion to continue this hearing until November 29th at 6:30
6:30
p.m.
here in Town Hall.
Motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Haddad. All those in favor of continuing this hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Thank you, Joel, thank you very much. We'll see you back with additional information. Please try to get it into us as early as you can so that we can review it. All right. Julian, I apologize if that went a little bit longer than we expected. As I mentioned to everyone at the beginning of this hearing, we are fortunate to have our town manager with us. So procedurally, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask the board, first of all, I'm going to ask the clerk to open up application 72-12 in the matter of Daniel Roy. And once we open it, I'm going to ask that we table that.
Continue.
Yep.
Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Daniel R. Roy of Lincoln Park, New Jersey, applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit pursuant to Sections 243 and 246-9E of the Code of Falmouth to raise and reconstruct a pre-existing, non-conforming, single-family dwelling with increased lot coverage on property located at 22 Harbor Ave, Falmouth, Mass.
I would ask the board for a motion to table this hearing until later in the evening.
I'll make that
To
motion.
continue the hearing following the open meeting discussion.
I'll make a motion.
Second that.
All right, Mr. Zelinski, Mr. Haddad, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. All right, we're now going to open up the next hearing, which is application 74-12 from Mr. Rucky.
Ready? Being all persons deemed affected by the Board of Appeals under Section 11 of Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws, you are hereby notified that Gregory Rucky of Franklin, Mass. Applied to the Zoning Board of Appeals for special permit pursuant to Sections 240-3 of the Code of Falmouth to construct additions to a pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling on property located at 10 Hunt Street, North Falmouth, Mass.
And I would entertain a similar motion to continue this till after the open meeting section.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Zelinski, Mrs. Johnson, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, unanimous vote. All right, at this point, I'd like to invite Julian Suso, our town manager, up with us. Unfortunately, it's not as informal as we'd like it to be because you know the routine, we're on television, and but I do very much want to thank you. The board was interested in a bit of a follow-up to our meeting with the Board of Selectmen back in March, I believe it was, and to see where we're headed with the issues that we had discussed.
Certainly, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation. I thought if it would be helpful or insightful, I'd just touch on, I think, what were three key areas of discussion that came out. Certainly, there were many things discussed, but most of these were sub-elements of, I think, three primary topics. The first being a streamlined regulatory permitting process. The second being professional review of zoning bylaws. And the third being enforcement concerns. Again, a variety of different iterations and suggestions and helpful insight. And I know the feeling, and certainly I share it, is that coming out of that meeting was a lot of positive energy. And I think that the mission is to continue to focus and marshal that energy moving forward. A few comments. That is in the area of streamlining the regulatory permitting process. Fundamentally, my view is that from the town manager's standpoint, that the best response, although there are others that could supplement this, would be from marshaling staff members to work in a more coordinated and collaborative manner. And that is something that I anticipate putting in motion, at least in initial form, yet this calendar year. I think it's going to be subject to some further adjustments and fine-tuning with the input of our staff colleagues involved in serving the Zoning Board of Appeals and others involved in permitting. But what I anticipate is a regularly scheduled staff meeting that compares and contrasts processes, procedures, shares information between staff members, and gives joint reports on where we are so that we can work as a team to identify any staff bottlenecks which may be occurring on projects that we are all, those that we're jointly reviewing. Certainly not every project is reviewed by every staff member, every board or commission, but I think that from that kind of a scenario comes the best opportunity to ensure that if we have any staff members that are falling behind or need some additional assistance, or for whom the sharing of information would be fortuitous in picking up the pace, that we can do that and make it a part of our standard operating procedure. Again, my intention is to have our initial sit down on that yet this calendar year, and continue to articulate and develop that. Certainly there are other ways of working with our various permitting boards on fine-tuning and improving the service to the public. And so in my suggesting that, I'm not trying to eliminate other options, and I think the door remains open for that going forward. And to the extent that the staff forums I'm describing would provide some opportunity for that, I think that's something we would want to take advantage of as well. And sort of jumping over to the next topic area, if I could, Mr. Chairman, it was, again, professional review of zoning bylaws, and I know that you and members of this board made a very clear and articulate presentation on the situation with the dated nature of the regulations and the organization of same, and some of the confusion that's engendered that really is in need of updating, and really some professional legal assistance. And what I have been anticipating is that would be a set aside in the upcoming FY14 annual budget. I don't have a figure on what that cost would be. That's something that has to be further clarified, going forward. But I'm going to be starting on the FY14 budget process very, very soon, and I see that as deserving of a line item earmark in the budget to make certain that, one, it gets the proper attention, and two, that there are adequate funds set aside to get the job done and result in a product that gives you a better tool to do the important job that you're doing. So that certainly is number two. The area of the enforcement concerns, there were some discussions there. I'm trying to remember back in March whether I'm not certain that our current Assistant Zoning Enforcement Officer, Ollie Fitzpatrick, was on the job yet. I'm thinking not. I see David and Sari and others confirming that. The only reason I mention that is I've worked with Ollie quite a bit since her arrival. That position was vacant, of course, at that time, and she has done a very good job for us. There is much on the plate there, as members of the ZBA are eminently aware, and I'm not going to suggest that from a staff standpoint we have adequate resources to get the job done. We are significantly constrained for much of this work to be on a complaint basis even yet, and it remains my hope that we can continue to add to staff resources to allow us to be more proactive going forward. But I don't have any short-term good news on that, other than the fact that we do have a well-qualified individual who's hit the ground running and working very energetically, and we're pleased to have Ollie with us. And I think that from an enforcement standpoint, we continue to fine-tune the areas that she's able to devote her time to. But certainly we're open for additional suggestions, and we're going to have to see what future budgets allow us to do. I think that we're still considerably below resources that the town has enjoyed in the past to be able to follow through on ZBA requirements, as well as important follow-through and follow-ups and regulatory reviews on the many things that are in place in addition to responsibilities of this board. So much lies ahead, but we have a good person there. I think we've made a good start, recognizing the bar needs to be set higher, and we're hoping to have more resources. So that's sort of a snapshot, Mr. Chairman, and I welcome the opportunity to talk about things further. I know Selectman David Braga is able to be with us here this evening. Of course, he joined in our joint meeting back in March, and I know with other members of the board and myself and other staff members take the opportunity and responsibility to work with the ZBA very seriously in the important work that you do. And I think particularly in times of economic challenge that we have been faced with for what seems like so many years, the challenges that fall at the feet of the ZBA become even more daunting as other development issues tend to slow down. So you've seen that much more graphically than I have. But we welcome that chance to continue to work with you, and happy to talk further, answer questions to the best of my ability, et cetera, and follow up on future meetings as well.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a statement?
Sure. And then what I'd like to
On
do is
this-
just sort of informally, if you don't mind, some of the board members I know may want to have a bit of a discussion, and certainly David as well.
Since I do work with the zoning enforcement agent, and Ollie is doing a fantastic job, and she does have a lot on her plate, but when we contact her, she is able to take time, especially if we feel it's a priority or whatever, and she did hit the ground running, and she is doing an awesome job. She's helping us whenever we need her, and she has resolved a few complaints so she's doing good.
And I'll sort of jump in on that, and certainly from being a little bit distant from that, because I certainly don't see the day-to-day, I would echo that. But I think this board is concerned beyond just the staff resources. Because honestly, Julian, we've been told this several times, that when we get a new enforcement agent, things will happen. And we get new enforcement agents, and there are things beyond staffing. Those are your issues. But that this board was trying to be very thoughtful about in terms of ways of cooperating, ways of using the technology that the town spent a lot of money for that could assist. I think when I had prepared the information before you and Suri and I sat down, we talked about the use of Municity, the use of existing inspectors to be able to pull up on their smartphones or whatever the zoning board's conditions in their decisions. Because the part that I think is so frustrating when you have a board, any board that puts in the time, et cetera, but is thoughtful trying to come up. And you saw the last part of one of our hearings this evening, which was quite rare that we continued a case, by the way. But it was, we needed additional information. And ultimately, when we come up with conditions, to have a project be completed, come for sign-off to Suri, and it doesn't reflect what our decisions are. We don't need Ollie as an enforcement agent after the fact. We also need folks along the way on sign-offs to recognize what we've done. And I'm not saying that those people are not skilled at what they do. They're probably a lot more skilled than I am, but if they had the information, and we think that the ability to have that information available to all of those inspectors along the way exists in the town. And sort of informally, I was talking recently with, we get a number of referrals from department heads, and when I'm in the office, oftentimes those department heads will talk to me. And they share the same thing, that if Municity was better used, they would have the information to better respond to some of our referrals. So, I mean, we do have staff resources. That's always a problem. But I think within the existing staff resources, if somehow we could identify some of the problems, identify some of the solutions, that wouldn't cost money. We might be able to get there. So that's just my thought. But we're sort of on enforcement right now. So what else does the board have? And this is my 5th year as chairman, Julian, and every year that I've given a report to the Board of Selectmen, enforcement has been on that topic. So 5 years in the making, and we haven't, quite frankly, made a lot of progress.
Understood.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Suso.
You're welcome.
I just want to make a statement that I think it's, and I said this before, as a fairly new member, we work, I see how much work goes into what happens on this side of the table now, after almost a year. And it was exciting for me personally to see Mr. Braga come in and be that liaison, that is that connection between your table and our table. I think that is one of the most important factors going forward, because, again, without communication, which we haven't had, I can tell, in a long time, we have it now, and that's very encouraging for me personally. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Braga.
Thank you.
You know, in terms of, I had two questions. One regarding enforcement, the other, this staff meeting concept. So I don't know, Mr. Chair.
Jump right. I wanted this to be
so enforcement-wise, it's really more. The one issue that I've been bothered by has been at times the lack of responsiveness. I know a number of citizens in the town who have had perceived issues with, and tried to get some enforcement, and not found much of a receptive ear. And so, I don't know, what the solution to that is, whether it's simply staffing or whether maybe there are just some structural issues no one has full responsibility for enforcement. I mean, our zoning enforcement officer is also, the building commissioner has lots of other things on his plate. Maybe that's asking too much of one individual. So I just raised that as something to consider.
Sure, thank you.
The staff meeting idea, I like quite a bit. And I wondered if you could elaborate a little more on that. Would, beyond just sort of general criteria and general issues, if one of the things that's always troubled me, and I served both on the planning board and the zoning board over the years, is that projects often come in and they're marginally pass each test. But if you really looked at the project as a whole, maybe it's not a good idea. But they're, you know, the way the laws are written and the way the governance is structured, they squeak through. I've always wondered if that might not be an approach that could be used to address those projects. You know, we haven't been in a real crazy building phase in the last 8, 9 years, but there was a time when some of these things were popping up, and maybe it'll happen again, where we might want to take a harder line, but we could only do it if we have a coordinated effort. So will this staff meeting be designed to address specific projects? I guess that might be coming before boards. That's one question I had. And I also was wondering if you could elaborate on which staff you specifically envision participating.
Well, yeah, just in general, Ken, I do anticipate that it would be project-specific fundamentally, so that we would approach projects that are in common with as many of the staff and boards and commissions that are in a position to be reviewing them. Because I think that's the most productive way to approach it, when you start with the projects that can involve shared information, shared effort, an opportunity to avoid duplication, to conceivably multitask on inspection or sharing of information, et cetera, and talking about schedules. Sometimes team members or staff members can make joint visits on projects, even though certain, they may have a preference or a focus on certain kinds of information. As you say, sometimes it's it's maybe marginal in one area, maybe not so much in another, but getting the big picture, I think, even for those staff members for whom some details may not be critical to their mission, having that big picture, I think, is helpful to everybody, and also sharing points of view and thoughts about the quality of what is coming forward is a positive. So yeah, I do see it being project specific, but there are always going to be those areas that are more discrete and maybe single purpose, but for whom sometimes, if we're able to share the staff information, there is some insight and expertise across other departments where people do have some skills that can be brought to bear. Some of these issues maybe can be maybe fundamentally more significant from a health standpoint, but nonetheless, some insight by people with skills in building can be very helpful in the analysis. So I don't limit it to necessarily specific departments, but certainly the zoning administrator, our planning department, and our building people, including our inspectional people, health. I think those are critical people to have around the table. I believe that the town manager's office needs to be represented in a part of that, and I would anticipate at least to ensure that it moves forward regularly. I've already spoken to Assistant Town Manager Heather Harper. I may well have her chair this group to help ensure that it gets jump-started appropriately and gets good response from all the departments. That's not to say that I won't be part of that. I think it's important enough that I will be from time to time, but my point is that I think the town manager's office needs to have a presence there so that if problems, obstacles are encountered, difficulties, staffing or otherwise, the town manager's office will be in a better position to deal with them proactively and forthrightly. So that's the way I envision it. But I also see it as an evolutionary process, so I don't want to suggest, I've done things similar to this in other places. I don't want to suggest that, because I certainly don't have all the answers, but I think it is evolutionary, and with the skills of our staff colleagues, I think it'll be fine-tuned and adjusted going forward, not only in when the best time of the week or the month is to have these meetings, that it's most productive and accommodates, for instance, submissions of plans and things like that. We want to take a look and see if there is a unanimity of that, or a time frame that'll help us, but also to determine that on occasion, on particularly big and daunting projects, that maybe we should be meeting more often on those to move things along. So there's not a set formula and not a set answer, but I think you use the collective skills. What counts is getting the right people around the table, and that's my commitment. You need to do that to be effective. Otherwise, it's just another meeting, and we don't need more of those.
Mr. Suso, do you have any ideas on the frequency of these meetings? Or are they going to be quarterly, monthly? Do you have any ideas on that?
From a staff standpoint, coming out of the gate, I think they need to be monthly, and then we make a determination about whether that's an appropriate level, or if things slow down, whether it should drop to quarterly, or if things speed up, you go to, twice a month potentially. And I think we need to be that, that flexible. And I think these meetings, again, need to be productive and effective, meaning that we don't sit down and roll up our sleeves and figure on spending 2 hours if we don't need it. We want to devote our time in the field to be productive, but when we're sitting down to share, we want it to move along. And so I think it's got to be dynamic, and it isn't going to be a set time or a set duration. But I think we'll know a lot more after the first several months of being engaged with this. And frankly, when we talk about this next, maybe it'll look a bit different, but that's okay. My sense is that's because it is evolutionary, and the persons that are going to have the best sense about what works are the people that I have the pleasure to work with, and as well as all of you. So those are the folks I want to rely on.
It'll certainly help.
Well, I think there's really great news coming out of this, and again, thank you. I think, first of all, to have those meetings start before the end of the calendar year would be good. I think, speaking a bit for the board, we're hopeful that it's not just the case specific, although in that realm, we already have in process our 40B comprehensive permit process that Suri Suri chairs in preparation for that, where she gathers the input of things. But hopefully out of that could also lead to the input of the various departments, including conservation perhaps, that could help us streamline the process for people. So not just to address the complex and difficult cases that could allow us all to make better decisions, but ways that we can make it easier for us and the applicants as well. So thank you. I think that commitment before the end of the calendar year is great. I think the other commitment, and it should certainly please you, Patty, but all of us, is the commitment for the line item in the budget for the bylaw.
Certainly.
That is terrific. And I think since we did narrow it down to 3, and we had met previously, we can do it again. That issue of not just staffing resources, but the issue of enforcement sometimes goes beyond just the person who's filling that position. Although Ollie is also doing conservation right now too, isn't she?
Yes, she's assisting with that as time permits, yes.
Yeah. But more than just the concept of the after the fact, enforcement, but sort of during the completion of a project kind of enforcement that keeps us all from getting into trouble. I mean, we put a lot of time into not having more than one dwelling on a lot, and yet sometimes we go to sign off on a project and there's a kitchen in an accessory structure after we've spent all of this time. Something that could be avoided easily along the way. And as you know, we have no enforcement powers whatsoever. So we see something, we can't even do anything short of just not signing off on a certificate at the end of. So just if you could look at that. But all in all, great news, and I'm sure you're glad to be the bearer of good news. So it's good for us to see that, and we appreciate that. David, I know you came specifically, so And thank you again.
Thank you,
as our
Mr.
liaison.
Chairman. David Bragg, right, last Monday became your official liaison, although I've been attending meetings because this type of stuff interests me very much. And I know when we had our joint meeting in March, what stuck out was the enforcement and the fact that that book really needs to be refined and, put back in order. Of course, immediately, Julian knows I have a file sitting there with 14 issues in it. We've solved 7 of them. Some of them are day-to-day, but he's let me actually come to him with them. We normally don't do that as a selectman, come with a day-to-day issue, but he's helped me solve them. And I've come to him with this. He thought it would be a summer project for the book, but then Lakeville happened with the DEP boiled water, and he was up in Lakeville more times than, representing the town to get that done. And he's promised me that this would be happening, and I take him at his word. The thing we need to show, and we are doing it, the Board of Selectmen need to show these boards that put so much time and effort of their own time into these committees, regulatory boards, that we're concerned and we care. Now, I have 6 liaison committees. I'm going to go to as many meetings as I can, because they need to know they have our support. And I'm only allowed to do so much advocating in my actual open selectmen's meetings for issues, but I'll do what I can, and I'll turn it back over to Julian. So I owe him a lot of credit on helping me with some of these other issues, and I'm taking him at his word. We're going to get this squared away for you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, David.
Any other thoughts or comments?
Just to say thank you for
Absolutely.
coming and being so responsive to us.
You're welcome. Thanks for the invitation, from Chairman McNamara. Pleasure to be here, and I do want to echo Selectman Braga's comments, how much we appreciate all the work you're doing. It's easy to take good work for granted, and we occasionally do that, I'm sure, more so than we should, but we appreciate the opportunity to continue to set the bar higher and to work in a positive direction. So thanks for your assistance. Cerise, wonderful to work with.
She is.
A pleasure to do that, and we look forward to that continuing. And as Selectman Braga said, it's about providing support and working together, and everybody wins. So we are committed to that, and if we have to fine-tune some things along the way, we make those adjustments and try and keep the goal in mind. So,
And if we can assist with you in doing this, it's important to us, we will do it.
thank you, and look forward to talking to you further in the days to come,
Sure.
time to come.
Great.
So,
Julian, thank you
for
very,
that.
very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Good evening.
All right. All right, we're going to take just a quick 2-minute break, and then we're going to return to our hearings, okay?
Excuse me.
More responsibility.
I know, it gets cold in here. Should have been one thing on our agenda.
There was a-
You won't do it.
It was. All right, thank you very much for everyone's patience with this board. The next application we have already read into the record. It's 72-12, Daniel Roy. And since we can already just continued it till after that open session, we will move right into it. So, Tom, you representing the applicant? When you're ready, just come on up and introduce yourself and go forward with your presentation.
Thank you. I'm Tom Bunker with BSS Design. We have here the Roys in the audience. Actually, Dan Roy will be doing some of the presentation, some of the other. We're here, as you read into the record, to tear down an existing house, raise and reconstruct. Existing house is 15 feet to the property line. The proposed the step, which is a non-conformity by 10 feet in the front. The front step is 16.7 feet, which is further back than the existing house. The main body of the house is 20.2 feet, which is 5 feet further back than the house is here. I have two photos here to show this. The house we're talking about and the neighbor's house in the background. To show that. So I have two issues here. One is the non-conforming nature of the structure, and we're going to lessen the non-conformity in this one respect. As I say, going from 15 feet to 16.7, which is just the front step. But the main body is 20, so we're, in a way, moving it back 5 feet. And the other non-conformity, requesting to go to 21.58%, which is slightly above, 1.5% above the 20%. We went through we gave some information, and again, as the previous one basically showed the ones which blue numbers here are numbers which are above the 20%. They don't have an average. These are above 20%. 24.6, 26.2, 22, 29%. 22, this one just got a special permit for 22.5%. Fairly safe to assume that the others are not above 20%. Go further out there are others, but these here, some larger lots, smaller lots, and some lots are equivalent in size to what we have. So we're requesting the 21.58%, as shown on the plan you have. See, this is the proposed house. Picture of it here, a 1.5-story house. The bulk could be up to 2.5 stories. There could be an additional. The footprint is 2,572 square feet. So adding another floor in there could be adding another 2,500 square feet of floor area to this house. Dan has, that was a brief introduction. Dan has some other comments and thoughts to share with you.
Thanks,
Tom. So I need to introduce myself, I think, right? Dan Roy. My wife and I are here tonight. We're the owners of the property. And so I do have some handouts, which I'll give to you folks, which is largely this, but a couple of other things. And see, hopefully I can.
Dan, if you would just bring them right down here, okay? And because we need to stamp them in, make sure they're all the same. Thank you.
Yeah, and then there's I think the sixth one is over here, so I have to give that to as well.
Okay. Great, thank you very much.
Take the same thing?
Yeah. So you just keep that. Want to give that to Sue, please?
Thank you.
Okay, Dan, you go right ahead.
Can I get started?
Please do.
Very good. First of all, thank you for this. It's been July 6th when I applied for this, so it was a while ago, and we're getting closer, I hope. Even though it says I'm from New Jersey, please consider me a true Massachusetts person, because I was born and bred, and my wife was also here in Massachusetts. We lived most of our lives here, and we lost our way for a while and moved to New Jersey, so now we're coming back. We're coming back to retire. And we bought this house, and I want to show you the photos of the existing house. There are two duplicates.
Yeah, we just need to be able to stamp them in and verify they're the same, okay?
And then this is just one, but it's all of the adjoining homes in the area.
And this is different than this case, okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Very good. So, yeah, so even though it says I'm from New Jersey, please consider me Patriots and a fan, and et cetera. I went to WPI I have a BS Mechanical Engineering, and I have a master's degree from Northeastern. Turns out I'm, by coincidence, a licensed professional engineer here in Massachusetts. Have been for forever, it seems, since 1971, I think. And also recently, I decided, I've always wanted to build a super energy efficient home, and this is what we are proposing to build here. It'll be a passive house, pretty similar to the one that was built already in Falmouth, up on Upalong, you may recall, road, and it's in East Falmouth. And because I got so interested in the high energy efficiency, I actually became a certified passive house consultant, which is a 9-day class and about 10 hours of exams, and I passed it. So now I think I know what I'm doing here, hopefully on the energy balance aspects of it, because I'm an engineer as well. So not a lawyer, so I'm not exactly sure how all this will work, but we are tearing down a 3-bedroom house that was built in the mid-50s. I sent you photos there that shows the condition. It's really covered with mold inside. It was a family's home for all their lives, really, and unfortunately, it fell into disrepair, and everything's rotting and everything. So we would take that and turn that into a 4-bedroom retirement home. It's about 2,100 square feet living area. And the reason I specify that is because the walls are going to be 15 inches thick, right? And so the outside is like 2,500 square feet, but the inside is like 2,100 square feet. It's much smaller. It's a quite small house. The reason we bought the lot, apart from the location, is the fact that it's true southern exposure. And that's what I need for the passive solar house. This house will actually run without any heat. It will run with a backup heating system only. That's the theory. I'm quite sure it'll work well. We're using the same architect that was used on the other passive house here in Falmouth, just to minimize any problems in that area relative to the design of the house. The lot is in the flood zone A, as Tom noted on the plans, which means we can't put in a basement. That is really the principal reason why we're looking for 1.5% more on the coverage, because we're going to be really hard pressed to store all of my wife's stuff. Although she says it's my stuff, but I think it's both our stuff, I guess, is the theory of stuff. We're also the garage is really there. We have a 2-car garage, one of which is going to be designed for an electric vehicle, because I want to be able to use the electric vehicle pretty much around locally. And the other one's going to be used, a regular car, to travel back to New Jersey for the grandkids and stuff. So the reason it's a 4-bedroom instead of 1 is primarily for the grandkids when they come over in the summer. That's principally the only reason. And they're upstairs, the 3 bedrooms, away from us. We want to showcase the house. We want it to be a showcase for Falmouth and the state of Massachusetts. Really, it's an incredible project, and I just can't wait to get started. So we are seeking improvement in the front setback. It's still non-conforming, but as Tom indicated, it was and is 15 feet to the structure of the house. We're talking 16.2 feet to the steps of the house, and actually 20 feet and change to the actual structure of the house. So it's about roughly 5 feet further back, the main structure of the house. But as I learned, I have to count the steps also in the setback, so we did that. The other thing is, Sari had given me a lot of counseling over the last many months, and she said, Dan, try to do what you can on the coverage. And so the original submittal on July 6th was about 0.3% higher, and it was about a foot closer. So I pushed the house back, Tom and I worked with the architect, pushed the house back, scaled it down, and so that's kind of where we're at, and it's really there primarily due to, we're looking for storage because there's no basement. So I will, and then page 2 in my handout, you'll see, is just a summary of what we are looking for. As you can, it's already been mentioned, so you can see what the situation is there. I guess I can say it's 240-68A to sound like a lawyer, and 240-69A. Those two paragraphs, I think, are the ones that apply. I've been studying up on those and watching the hearings that Cerise suggested I do, and so anyway. So I hope I covered the things that you're interested in. Item 3 on your handout is this large thing. This shows our lot here, which is one of the bigger ones in the area, which is one of the things we like to note that it's trapezoidal in shape. So it gets very difficult to do any more really with the setback. And what we did dramatically improve it by about 5 feet for the structure of the house. The adjoining lots, this Steve Livingston has really 3 lots here. This whole thing is Steve's. And then this is the commercial property, the Falmouth Motor Lodge, right here, across the street. And this is the boatyard, just to orient everybody. And so that's chart 3 in your handout. Chart 4 shows the existing house, which you have. 5 shows, and I tried to highlight it because it gets a little tricky for even us technical types to try to figure out what we have here. So I highlighted them on all your copies to hopefully give you an idea of what we're doing. And 6 is the floor plan, which I think was in the original submittal anyway. It got tweaked a little bit. We took the steps out, lowered the height of the building, and reduced the footprint in order to, we lowered the whole building basically. Okay? In order to, I took, Sari, I tried to do some of the things that she suggested I try to do, so hopefully you guys are okay with it, but we'll see. This is an artist, this is the architect's, he picked the colors. Don't hold me responsible for these colors. I'm not sure I like them yet, but anyway, that's what the house is going to look like. I wanted it to be really principally 1-story in structure. So the master bedroom is here, garage is here, and the upstairs are bedrooms, 3 bedrooms for the grandkids. So I tried to keep the house to be really mostly first floor living. We're going to live on the first floor. So that's number 7. And then number 8 is, oh yeah, Tom put together, now I did this, so don't blame Tom, this is me who did this. I said, why don't we just show those that are overages, to say that, okay, how does my house with an overage of 21.58, how does it compare to the other overages in the area? So I didn't realize, I heard your, Mr. McNamara earlier saying, oh boy, am I in trouble, but so I didn't show it that way, but I do have the data for all the others on Alvelma, and like Tom has already mentioned, most of the others that we didn't show are in the 19% range, and such that the average overages is as I show it, 23.62, and ours would be 21.58, if you agree. And so I thought that was in sticking with the sort of the spirit of the what you're looking for and trying to keep it, I want it to fit in the neighborhood too, believe me. I mean, that's, I'm going to live there the rest of my life. And when I did you have the metrics because Mr. Foreman, I heard your questions earlier. I says, oh, well, what am I going to do about that? I do have the numbers. The average, Tom dug up all the data on coverage for us, and he found anything, I guess, that was available that didn't have discrepancies. And we tried to figure out the average lot, Mr. Foreman, that you had asked about, for the 13 that he was able to pull reliable GIS data on, was 7,400 square feet. Now, ours is 11,400. Some of them are 24,000, like Steve Livingston's. They're kind of all over the place. And this is a huge lot here, which is the commercial property. And then this is the gentleman who actually was one of the original settlers in Falmouth Heights, and he did a lot of the buildings here. He's a builder. He's quite old now. He's in his 90s. Nice old guy. I met him. So anyway, he's on a huge lot also. So it's kind of a potpourri of different size lots, really. And then you've got the townhomes. townhouses in the Bogey Island. So just in case you're not that familiar with the area. Of the 13 the town was able to pull from the immediate area, 9 of them had overages, and the other 4 were under. They were just under slightly, though. They were in the 19%. And I do agree, Mr. Foreman, that, yes, it is on a smaller lot. Yeah, that's what's there. You know, they are smaller lots, most of these on Eldona, right? So, and so then, not knowing any better, I took the liberty to sort of summarize what I think are the parameters that you folks try to consider in the evaluation, which is my chart 10. And, you know, I'll just zip through these real quick. These are sort of my talking points as to why I think it's a reasonable proposal, hopefully. Item 1, some of the houses in the area have similar lot coverage. The average lot coverage is overages. Those that are over, I don't want to misrepresent this. The average for this whole area, excluding the ones the town was able to get, is like 22%, including the underages. Okay, but the overages were 2362. I thought that was a sort of a better way to think about it because, okay, you've got some that are slightly under, some that are slightly over. How does the Roy house end up? Does it come out somewhere in the ballpark? All right. And some of the houses in the area are substantially larger than our proposed home, as you know if you've walked by there. This one, Mr. Livingston, Steve Livingston, who couldn't be here tonight, but he did send a letter of support, I think. The people across the street, the Kellys, were here, but they couldn't stay because of Dad. They were here to support me, I think. And I think you should have gotten some other letters in support from some of your letters right in the area here. I believe you did, but, okay. So some of the houses are larger. Item 3, no impact on the character of the neighborhood, I don't think. I think it's going to really make a beautiful addition to the neighborhood because it'll be a passive house. It'll be, the other passive house, the guy won't even let me go see it, okay? He wants to be very private. I, on the other hand, would welcome people to use this as a model for what really needs to happen, I think, in the country someday, is make houses super energy efficient. And this is like living in like a styrofoam cooler, basically. It's insulated on all 6 sides, super airtight, and you live in that, and you do it. You bring in your air automatically, through a heat exchanger. So, no effects on the character of the neighborhood, I don't think. No effect on shadows on adjacent properties. There's nothing behind it. And this is true south in front, so the shadows are all behind me, turns out. No impact on the views and vistas from the public ways, for sure. There's no effect on nitrogen, I don't think. The proposed use, item 7, will not have adverse effects which overbalance the beneficial effects on the neighborhood, I think was one of the criteria for the board. And neighborhood support, I hope, for our proposed home. I believe that is the case. They've all said they've. And then I also noted in your bylaws that on 240-216 with the guidelines, they had A through J. So I kind of went through and said, well, what does it look like? And I guess I'm thinking that the first one, which is adequacy of the site in terms, I didn't write the rules, you know them better than I do, but I don't have them memorized. Adequacy of the site in terms of size for the proposed use. It's adequate due to minimal excess coverage for storage. It's really what I'm hoping you guys will find is okay. 1.5% more. The next one is suitability of the site for the proposed use. The property will remain a residential status, so it's not going to change. Item C in your bylaws is impact on traffic flow and safety. It is almost impossible to pull out of that driveway now safely. And we're going to knock all of those very, very tall shrubs. It's going to be much safer. And the other thing we're going to try to do is that driveway is going to be one of those that the water goes right through it, aqua brick or something they call it, so that there'll be no runoff. So I've heard you ask those questions. I'm concerned about that as well. And so we're only going to be, the base flood elevation is 11. Okay, and so we will be, the floor will be 8 inches above that, 10 inches above the base flood elevation. So that gives me a little margin when the big one hits, and hopefully, then that doesn't require any substantial anything, really. And then the driveway, like I say, is going to be that permeable stuff that we don't need to, so it'll be a pretty nice addition, I think, I hope. Item, your paragraph, the impact on the visual character, including views and vistas. Well, I did give you the existing house photos to show, that's kind of what the neighborhood has today for views and vistas. Not so hot. It's pretty, I don't mean to shoot down that house because it was somebody's home for all their lives, and I was told it was a beautiful home until 3 or 4 years ago. So, but it's pretty tough shape now, so it'll be a nice thing for the town, for the neighbors. Item E basically says adequacy of the method of sewage disposal. They currently have a cesspool there, and Tom's designing us a septic system, Title V system, with a provision for reserve if we should need it someday. But I'm going to use all the super low water usage stuff too, so I can try to, I don't think I'll ever need a new septic system, I'm sure. I hope. What else we got here?
Mr. Roy, it was my fault not telling you that 15 minutes is the
How close am I?
presentation.
Am I close?
You guys are well over it, so.
Oh, okay.
But because I didn't say that, I just would ask you to kindly
Yeah, I've only
wrap
got
it up
three.
in the zoning issues for us.
3 or 4 more points, and that's basically it. No impact on affordable housing, I'm sure you know. No planning board comments came in, as I was told, and we're in compliance with the applicable zoning bylaws. That was it. Any questions?
What we'll do is we're going to review the file first, and then
Yes,
we'll
sir.
come back and we'll ask you,
Okay.
you folks some questions, okay? Scott?
From water, they state that you're going to need to upgrade to a 1-inch service.
Right.
Planning, no comment. Pardon me, bear with me a second. Natural resources, no comment. Health, proposed house and septic system are in agreement with respect to bedrooms and septic capacity. The proposed system is in compliance with state and local regulations. That's from health.
For you.
I couldn't, yeah, talk to
Hieroglyphics
him. Engineering, no comment.
Concom, yeah, you probably do.
This is,
You may want to start.
I think it's.
There's an email back and forth from Conservation Commission.
Oh, yeah, they're just, excuse me, talking about the flood zone. He gave us that, but I believe,
I have this next.
yeah, he wrote there.
Okay. From Concom, located in flood zone requires at least an admin review from Concom. Plot plan shows first floor elevation at 12.8, must be at least 2 feet above flood zone A. Elevation, an example, must be at least 13 feet. Then it goes down to note, Concom also requires that all stormwater be contained on the property through the use of dry wells and driveway drainage. Engineers need to, it's hard to read, need to cite what flood zone, FEMA.
Can I
being-
just,
Map
can
is
I
being
just
used.
help you there? The emails are a backup to that
Okay.
referral, and that referral should be corrected, and the emails do note it,
Okay.
that there was a mistake from Conservation Commission. Tom Bunker contacted them, as the email shows, and he's corrected it, so.
And there were 2 letters of support from the Livingstons and the O'Neills.
Could I point out a conservation, should have it in the folder there, again, an administrative approval.
It's on the other side. He's reading the referrals, so that'll come later. It has been corrected, and there is something from Concom on the other side.
And then any correspondence.
There's a letter to Chairman McNamara from Bonnie and Jerry O'Neill. I already referenced that in support.
I'm not sure
It's
that
in
letter
I
is.
don't think that one's in support.
We are not opposed to the new structure on the lot. However, we are opposed to the substantial increase in lot coverage. So, are they or aren't they?
They would not be in favor. They are
Okay,
opposed.
so we've got one and one. This is sent, hold on, just a reminder, this is from Sari to Tom. Just a reminder for this
That's
week.
all right, that's-
We don't need to do that?
That was on the lot coverage and bulk
Okay.
issue.
This is from the Livingstons, from Stephen and Susan Livingston. We are immediate neighbors to the property purchased by Dan and Vern Roy, 22 Harbor Ave. We have seen sketches and the plot plan of the new home they want to build to replace the existing house that is now on the property. We are aware of the two variances they need to proceed with the demolition of the old house and construction of the new house. I have owned this house at 8 Harbor Ave for 33 years and have seen the entire Falmouth Heights neighborhood change from old homes that needed rehabilitation to one of the most desired locations in Falmouth. This was accomplished by existing and new property owners rebuilding their existing homes and in many cases completely replacing houses with new ones. We do not object to the two variances Dan and Vern are asking for. The house they will be removing is deplorable, and the design of the new one will fit right in between our house and the other new house that has just been completed on the corner of Harbor and Eldona. Also diagonally, across the corner of Harbor and Eldona, another house is being replaced with a new one, making the Roys the fourth completely new home on Harbor Avenue between Falmouth Heights Road and Central Park within the last year. There are 7 homes on the first block of Harbor Avenue, and 4 of them will be completely new constructions. Also, a 5th home was completely refurbished during last year. Again, we are very much in favor of the Roy's request of the ZBA to approve the 2 variances that are requested. Signed, Stephen and Susan Livingston. This is another letter from it's
It's a duplicate.
thank God. These transmittal, these don't have to be read, do they?
And here's the application for the administrative review.
Yeah.
Does that have to be read?
Nope.
Okay.
You just,
That's
hopefully
the decision?
approval on August 14th, 2012.
And a lot of people get confused as to special permit versus variance. It is a special
Yeah.
permit and no variance.
Yeah. Okay. With that, why don't we start with some questions from...
Could I ask one question? One of my neighbors assured me, and he sent me an email saying he had sent a letter. Lou Capozzi on 2 Eldona, he's the other new house.
If he sent it, it's in the
Not
file.
there. It's not showing up?
If he sent it late this afternoon, I wouldn't have received it.
Okay, here's the email, can I just give you that?
You may.
Yeah, it just says, hey, Dan, I did send it in support of it, it's right here. Okay, so he's the one right next door. The other new house is right next door, basically.
We'll put it in the file. Unfortunately, there's
Yeah.
no address or anything.
I understand, but he is the owner of, Lou Capozzi is on 2 Eldona.
See it everywhere.
These are some of the direct abutters. This one and 2 Eldona. This is directly across the street, much larger house. And these houses are a little further away on Central
If he
Park.
sent it later today, I wouldn't have gotten
We
it.
stamp them
We
in
put
and
this?
we will...
So what did Tom hand in?
Oh, you've been keeping the list because I just had a
Yeah.
reminder for you. Some pictures of butters and some a little bit further away. Are those duplicates, Tom?
2 of each.
Okay. So we can take those and we'll pass these down. All right, Ken, do you want to
Sure.
questions? Thanks.
So, a very nice presentation.
Oh, thank you. I've never done one of these, but I had no idea what to
I
expect.
wouldn't, you're a natural.
I'm a little little nervous, but anyway, here I am.
And it's a commendable project, in terms of the
I hope so.
energy
I can't wait.
conservation.
I can't wait to get it going, really. Thank you.
But nonetheless, I'm a little, every time, when you completely raise and start over, I'm always a little troubled when somehow it's still not conforming in
Yeah,
some aspect.
sure.
Tom sent us this analysis here, which had 8 houses that were in excess of 20% lot
Right,
coverage
right.
from the neighborhood.
Right.
And the average that he calculated was 23.62.
Correct, yeah. Those are the overages, those are just the overages.
Just the overages.
Correct.
And when I took the average of the square footage of the houses, I got 1,419 square feet.
Yeah, actually.
Is that consistent with your?
Actually, because the Livingston house is well, wait a minute, I got 1,628, because I heard you ask the question, I knew I had it on my spreadsheet, I just had to
That's
go
why
scramble.
what was confusing me is that
Yeah.
you indicated 9 houses, I think.
Yeah, he did 13 eventually.
And-
So the other 4,
This one, which I got in my email earlier today.
the other 4 are underages. Those are the ones that are like 19 and change.
Right,
So those are the total of 13 that he did.
yeah.
And the total of everything is, all 13 homes, 7,400 square feet is the lot size, average lot size that you had asked the other fellow.
Right.
And the average house for those 13 is 1,628.
But in this case, though, for the ones that Tom sent us,
Yeah.
which were the overages, the average lot size is a little smaller. It's
Perhaps, yeah, it could be.
6,000.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, that's part of, at least how I view it, how the justification for why you might need to
Yeah.
go over it.
Yeah.
Um,
But a lot of those homes, too, have basements. Actually, all those in Eldona, most
So
of them do. Yeah.
just to clarify, just for the record, then, we have 1,400 square feet and 1,420 about, or 1,600, and then you're proposing 2,537 as the footprint.
Yeah, except I had actually an average house of 1,628. Part of it is because the Falmouth Heights Motor Lodge, the GIS data does not include the huge garage and what do you call it, the lodges that are integral with the garage. They're just not in there. It's just, and that's about 2,000 square feet. So when you put that in, it gets even, it gets to be a bigger.
Well, that's the commercial property.
That's commercial property, correct, yes, sir.
Piece.
That's this piece over here.
Right.
That is a big garage and lodge
Right.
combination right there.
But, it's a different animal.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's a combination of commercial stuff and townhomes and regular homes in this area, so it's a kind of a mixture.
So looking at what you're proposing, the first question I had really deals with the garage. What's the internal square footage of the
Okay.
garage and the associated storage areas?
Okay. We have it. Tom, can you help me? Do you have that handy, or? Actually, it's actually on the plan. Yeah, here it is. Thanks. 689. Let's see, make sure I get that. Make sure I give you the right number. Yeah, 689. If you look at the garage itself on the outside, that's a regular construction. It's 2x4
Yeah,
construction,
I
right?
noticed that.
Yeah. So I mean, that's outside of the thermal envelope for this type of home.
There's a small storage area on the, I guess it would be.
On the east side.
The east side.
Yes, sir.
That's about, if I did my.
It's just
math,
4 by
it's
8.
about
It's
4 by
32.
8,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
What do you envision using that for?
It was really just because, the lot line, the way it goes, is such an angle. I just don't have any storage in the home, and that's why I was trying to get, so I could put a little, I don't know, the lawnmower or something in there, from the inside of the garage. And then the back of the garage there's really storage.
Yeah, there's a lot of space there.
Yeah, that's where we would put stuff.
You're pretty close on the lot lines, 10,
Yeah.
2 there.
Right.
10 there.
Yes, sir.
So that's one way that conceivably you can trim it a little bit.
Yeah, I
Not that
could.
long.
Yeah, I could.
The other large area that is separate construction is the sunroom.
Yeah.
That's how many square feet?
Well, it's 15 by 15, so it's 225. I did my math right, I think it is.
So without the, do you have any idea what your lot coverage would be without the sunroom and that little storage area?
Oh, it would be quite a bit lower. Let's see, 20, it would take 225. Yeah, about 2%. So it'd be 20, it'd be 19 and change, something like that.
Okay.
Yep. My wife won't allow me to get rid of the porch.
I understand the desire,
Right.
and I'm not necessarily proposing that you get rid of it, I'm just going through the mental exercise.
Fair enough.
You're not proposing any sheds anywhere
No,
for storage?
no, there is a shed that's coming down. This thing here is almost down now anyway, so that's coming down.
And the orientation, the reason you've got, because it is, you're squeezing up against those lot lines.
Yeah.
But that's necessary. I mean, have you considered, I guess here's how I'd like to put it, is considered any other way of orienting the house?
We did, we started out, yeah.
And still being able to capture enough sunlight?
Yeah, see, that's the trick. You see these windows here? These are all special design windows that they need to get that direct sunlight in order to heat my house during the wintertime. And so you need a certain square footage of area for the design criteria for these homes. And that just barely meets it now. So, you know, in a way, I was tempted to go up over the bedroom, but I didn't really want it to look boxy. I wanted it to look, you know, like the rest of the homes. You know, this is only 28, this part.
Of course, that would be another way of getting some storage, would be to maybe have something more over the garage.
Yeah, which we do have. I do have that. You can see there's a, you might not have noticed the subtlety, but there's a pull-down attic stair. So we're going to try to get stuff up there. That'll be where my stuff goes. First will go down here. So, but yeah, there is that. And that's all it's going to be used. It's not going to be finished or anything, so.
The plan shows photovoltaics.
Yes.
I don't see them in the,
No, you didn't
Architects.
sketch them in there. But that's what I'm going to do. I have them on our current house in New Jersey. They're fantastic, and they're twice as efficient now as the ones I have. So, I mean, we're going to have, yeah, I think we're going to generate all of our electricity for the house and the car. That's the goal anyway. I mean, we're going to have a 7 kW system there. I don't think I can afford it right up front, so I'm going to provide for it right away, right? Because that's, I know I've got enough area for 7 kW up there, which is...
no large wind turbines.
No, I don't, no, sir. Although I am, by coincidence, a turbo machinery engineer. I know nothing about wind turbines. I know you have your wind turbine problems here. I've been reading about that. It's unfortunate.
Okay, I think that does it for me for the moment.
All right, thanks. Scott?
Good evening, Mr. Roy.
Good evening.
I've just got a couple. You testified earlier that they're going to be 15-inch walls, you said?
Correct.
Opposed to, what would they have been?
Well, the building code allows 4-inch wall, 2x4 construction.
If you were to calculate that, how much interior space you lost,
I lost a lot, yeah.
would you have any idea what that would have
I
been?
do.
By doing that efficient?
Yeah, I do.
Wall structure?
Because it's 2,500 square feet of living area,
Yeah.
not including the garage or the porch.
Right.
That's 2,500, and then the actual living area inside is closer to 2,100. Now, normally, a normal home would be closer to 20, instead of 25 on the outside, you'd have maybe 24, 23.9, somewhere around there. So I lose a lot, obviously, but it's going to be packed with, you know, insulation.
No, I understand,
Yeah.
I understand it doesn't count on the outside, but
Right, yeah.
you're giving something up.
Oh, yeah, in order to, there'll be no carbon footprint at all in this house, and the automobile that's in it, hopefully.
My other question is, when I was out there, you get some above-ground, at least one above-ground storage tank. That
that's
property's
gonna
going to be abated before.
Yeah, it's empty, too, it's been emptied. And so, yes, that's going to be abated.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay.
Patty?
I have no questions.
David?
The photovoltaic panels, those, you said you're gonna mount those sometime down the road, so that won't
Yeah.
happen on the initial,
Huh?
that won't happen on your initial
It
construction?
might, if I can scrounge up enough money. I'm going to try to. They cost about 30 grand,
And how many
but you get a
bed,
lot of money back.
how many bedrooms in your existing?
My existing home in New Jersey?
This one here,
Oh, the existing little house here, 3 bedrooms,
and you're going to a 4?
correct.
Where it says retreat room, what's
That's really a study. I don't know why my architect wanted to get fancy, but it's the study.
study with a closet?
Yeah, that's where the study is. Actually, as you can see, in order to get to the bedroom, the master bedroom, you go through the study. 'Cause we eliminate all the hallways. There's no hallways in this house, really, on the first floor.
Not a bedroom?
Did that answer your question?
For that room, it did.
For that room, okay.
And you said your driveway, it doesn't really pertain to anything, but your driveway's gonna be pervious to
Those
pavers.
aqua brick, or whatever they call them, there's some kind of, somebody makes a good brick that the water goes right through it, which is kind of nice.
No more questions for now. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
The roof material, tile or steel?
Standing seam aluminum roof, 50-year life. I don't want to paint, roof, shingle, or do anything, so this is.
And that won't inhibit any mounting procedures?
No,
for-
actually, it enhances the mounting of the solars, because they don't have to penetrate the roof.
So they work in conjuncction with each
They
other? I
do,
mean,
actually. They actually make it easier. There's a special S-clip that clips right into the roof.
So you did that in anticipation of? okay.
Yes, sir, right.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Also, the hot water will be solar also. That I'll probably do right up front. It's not as expensive, and that will be done all with solar. And that also clips to the roof and doesn't have to penetrate into the frame of the house, which is nice.
Tom, could I ask you a question, please? When I was out at the house, I saw the stakes, and in the front of the corners, there were like double stakes saying proposed corner of the house. They weren't offset, they were double stakes, and I just wondered what that was pointing out to us.
It might have been right in here. Was it on the east side, do you recall?
The front, you said?
It was on the front, it was on the east and the west corners.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah.
stakes that were within 3 feet apart from each other.
Not this jog right here?
No. It was at the corner, saying proposed corner, so I'm just wondering what it was. I mean, we take the site visit seriously, so.
He didn't tell me he put in 2 stakes in each corner.
2 stakes, exactly aligned, within no more than 3 feet apart.
You can see on this side, possibly there's a jog.
Yeah, this here is in the
2-foot
driveway, so this is painted in now, right?
Okay, well, if we don't know the answer, that's fine.
No, I don't.
Okay. Tom, I'm not sure who did, but there was a mention that there was a change in the plans.
Yes,
Do we have the current plans or not?
you do have the current ones, yes, sir.
Okay.
The ones that were submitted in July were 21.88.
Okay, so the date of the plans that we're supposed to be looking at are which ones?
Revision September 20?
In terms of the plot plan?
There's a plot plan of the 20th,
Yep,
there's a house plan of August 15th.
yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
All right. The height appears to be, to the ridge, 34 feet and 2 inches.
I think that's right, it's from the existing grade.
Yep. Is the grade changing?
It's going to go up a foot.
So it's actually.
It'll taper slightly, to the back and to the front, just a little bit.
So the grade will be up a foot. What's the
Yeah.
height of the current house?
The current house is at 10 foot. In other words, it's built on a slab.
What's the height of the ridge?
Oh, the height of the ridge, I have no idea. It's only a one-story with a small roof.
So this is actually shifting up a foot, and then we're doing 34 feet.
Well, no, it's really from the 10-foot. If you look, it's really 33 feet from the finished grade. Pretty sure.
All right, well, clarify for it, because I think you said 34 feet, 2 inches from the existing grade. You're going to have to be over there.
Okay.
So that, yep, and, well, I need this. Do you have a plan up there or not?
I don't, actually.
Okay.
I didn't think about that one.
All right, here, you can take this, and I'll look on somebody else's, but I'm trying to figure out the height of the ridge.
Do you want
from
mine,
what-
Matt?
That's okay. From what grade?
Okay, if you're looking at that plan that's labeled A3, in the top left corner, it shows 34 foot 2 inches to the existing grade, which is at 10 feet.
Right.
See that dimension there?
Yep.
And then the finished grade will be at 11 1/4.
Yep.
That gets it above the base flood elevation.
So
is-
what's the height of the ridge going to be at the new elevation?
Relative to finished grade is 32 foot 11.
Okay.
Yep. Okay?
Yep.
I think that was, yeah. Fair enough?
No, just an answer. I don't know if it's fair or not.
That's a number.
The next question, and I'm not sure who passed this in.
I did.
Okay. I see, no, you got to stay back there, Mr. Roy, thank you.
I need glasses.
Now, see, I'm not sure where these pictures correspond, because on the sample area of homes that you gave us, when you gave us that large handout,
Right.
there are only 2 of these
Right.
on that.
Right. This
So
was
I-
something I took earlier, Mr. McNamara. What
Yeah.
I did was I said, what are the adjacent homes? This is just the neighborhood,
So,
the immediate homes right near it.
so you know what the percentage of lot coverage is on these homes?
It's in the, most of those are in the tables. I can't go-
It's not in the table that you gave us. There's only 2 of these homes on this table.
Okay,
So I'm wondering what the rest of them are on this.
okay. These are the ones that Tom was able to retrieve from the GIS data from what, and it may be that, hang on a second, I may have some of those. Like, for example, the Lynch is like 23.5%.
I don't know the name, I just.
Oh,
know what you
7,
gave me.
7.
7 Harbor,
Yes.
yeah.
And then the,
And what is the numbers on 7 Harbor?
it's, the lot per is 19,000, do you want the lot size?
I want to try to make it consistent
okay.
with everything you gave us.
19,850, because it's a huge lot.
19,750, did you say?
850.
850, yeah. And
And-
what's the square footage of the house?
The house is 4664,
Okay. And do you know what the percentage coverage is?
23.5.
23.5, okay.
And there's some other streets there.
Well, there's a number, I mean, you're giving us this as a demonstration, and I just don't know where it fits in.
Fair enough. I know that the one at 33 Harbor is the one that...
You already have that one down.
That's the O'Connor, that's the one that you just approved at 23.5%.
You have that one down.
22.5% rather, sorry,
Okay.
yeah. That one's on the table. And Capozzi House on 2 Eldona, I don't have because it's not in the GIS data yet. It's too new, so it doesn't show up. And I do
I'm
have
sorry, what was the one that you just gave us then? I got 7 Harbor, and
okay, and then the 33 Harbor is the one that was just...
and we have that one. so-
Yeah, okay, that was the one I gave you. And then Capozzi, which is 2 Eldona. That's a brand-new house, and the data is not yet on the website.
Okay, so that wasn't a raise and reconstruct, that's a brand-new house?
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
all right.
On a double lot, it was like 8,000.
It's
I can
5
give
years
you the
old.
lot size, I do have that, if that helps.
It's over 5 years old.
Yeah.
Should be on there.
No, that's the one that was just built, they just got the certificate of occupancy.
The one that's on the corner?
Yeah, it's a brand-new house.
Ma'am,
Yeah, I know.
if you're going to speak, you're going to have to come up here.
We did a special permit on it 5 years ago.
Yeah, it could be.
All right, do you have any of the others? 25 Harbor?
25, no, we could, that data Tom was not able to pull from the system. I got whatever he was able to get.
34 Harbor?
34, no, we don't have, but that's a big, I do have the lot, but we couldn't find the other stuff. 10,275 is the lot.
Okay, it's not going to help for me to
Yeah, right.
compare. And 8 Eldona?
8 Eldona, could not get the data.
Okay, so, we don't.
I think what Tom did, what Tom and his team did that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just trying to get the answers to the questions I
Okay.
have. The next is, I have to confess, I got confused along the way.
I'm sorry. All right.
No, that's all right. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 homes that you provided to us. You had an average square foot per house based on those numbers, at least that Mr. Foreman gave us, of 1419.
Okay.
And a coverage of 2362. And then you went into 13 homes.
Those are under.
Right.
Yeah.
But I want to have those averages across. They started to get mixed up the way you were doing it. So
Sorry.
based on, no, that's all right, 13 homes, what's the average square foot of the lots?
Okay, that I have.
Okay.
Do you want me to write it down and hand it to you, or
No,
just read it?
I'm writing it right down.
Okay. The 13 that Tom was able to pull data from, the lot average size is 7,357.
Okay,
The house average was 1,628.
okay,
And the overall ratio there, that percent coverage, is 22.05%.
okay. And just one other piece of information, on the 8 homes that you gave us,
Yep.
you didn't give us what the average square foot of the lots was.
Okay. Let's see, I can do that here. It's about the same, yeah, it's about the same, but you'll give me a second, I'll get it for you. I can get it. That's one thing engineers can do, I guess. You want the average lot?
Average lot size.
Average lot size of the, okay. Those are, according to Excel, 6024. Okay?
Okay, so on the 8 homes, only 6,000 square feet, 1,400 square feet for the house, 2362 on the average coverage. 13 houses, we've got 7357, 1,628, 2205.
Yes, and I think Mr. Foreman, when he said 1420 was the number you calculated? That's-
1419, that's
Yep,
based
that's
just
what
on
we
the
get.
list that Tom sent.
Correct, those 8. The one that we got afterwards, too late for this to be put on that piece of, that was this house right here. That garage and lodge thing, which adds, that one was a 20.
That's the one across the street.
Yeah, that's not included, that's the ninth
Commercial,
one
though,
that we
isn't it?
just got a couple of days, really today, really.
I don't know whether you heard, but that was a question of commercial. Of the 8 or 13 that you've selected here, are all of them single-family residences?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're not talking about any of the commercial?
Correct.
We're not talking about the townhouses?
Right.
Okay, very good. All right. What are the plans for the stormwater control? You heard that in the Conservation Commission referral.
Stormwater control, there'll be, at each corner of the house, we're gonna have dry wells, and the driveway is going to be permeable.
Okay.
So there really should be, I mean, I'm also, although I won't commit to it, I'm gonna see if I can use the water from the house, to see if I can put a cistern down below.
That's, I wanted to see what the stormwater is. We're gonna try to stick to the zoning issues.
Yeah.
I think, quite frankly, all of your passive things are wonderful.
Yeah,
But that's a personal comment. We're the zoning board of appeals, so.
Got it.
We want to try to stick to the zoning issues. I heard when Mr. Foreman asked whether or not you considered a different orientation of the house, and it was because of the windows.
Yes, sir.
And again, laudable energy issue, but from a zoning perspective, If the house were twisted around and put in a different orientation, and you said you had considered that, what would have happened to the setbacks?
Probably not, you're gonna run into this, because the lot is tapered so much, it's only 56 feet in the back, 100 in the front. So as you move this further back, you're gonna run into this again, for sure.
Wasn't talking about moving, I was talking about the orientation.
Yeah, right, in other words, you're gonna make the house deeper than you would normally do.
Not that I would make anything, I guess what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, the house that's there right now goes north-south. That's the
Correct.
orientation of the house.
Correct, yes.
The house that you're proposing is east-west.
Right.
So I was questioning the orientation,
Yeah.
not setting it back,
Gotcha.
okay? So, and you said you considered the orientation, so if the house was oriented north-south, what would happen to your setbacks?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really know,
All
actually,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you, though, the architect started that way, I said, we're not gonna be able to meet the requirements for passive house, because the windows, you need windows in the front.
Okay, all right,
That was the reason, the
Okay.
principal reason.
all right. Sri, any questions? Any other questions from the board? Okay.
Yeah, I had one other question regarding Lot 7 across the street, I guess it is. Whether you know whether that's conforming.
Oh, that was a good question, on Harbor Ave.
Yeah,
It's 23.5%.
right, but with respect to
Setbacks.
setbacks.
All that, I don't know. I don't think you can get that from the GIS data, right? You'd have to just scale it.
Yeah, no,
I don't, and we don't have that information. It looks to be about okay, but it's a little deceiving because there's 10-foot right away on the street, so, you know.
I mean, it just, when you start piling on, you got setback and
Yeah.
lot coverage issues, and, it just becomes more
Yeah.
and more.
One of the things that I didn't mention, but you probably already know, is that there's also a 10-foot right of way, so everything from the street is actually an extra 10 feet, even more than that. In other words, from the lot line is 10 feet from the street, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
The plot plan shows it from the lot line on.
Correct. But when you're actually walking on the street, isn't that,
No, that's true.
it's even
most.
better.
Yeah, the pavement is always.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone here in the audience that is opposed to this application? And I know that you'd be in favor, so we'll leave it at that. Any other questions or comments? All right. Again, just as we did in the earlier one that involved this policy, let's have a bit of a discussion for the applicant's benefit, and then we'll go from there. Ken, do you want to start?
You're gonna make me start?
Sure.
Can't you start with someone else?
I'll do it.
I could, Scott.
Wham.
My feeling is, when you,
Well, and I apologize earlier. Scott is turning 50 on Saturday, so I just want to be able to give him as much latitude as possible.
again? Thank you, Matt.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
It's all downhill from here.
Mm-hmm.
He can attest to that.
While that house is unusual in its architecture, if you look at all the other houses in the neighborhood, you have gambrels, you have, and I'm talking to the board, you have capes, we have split levels, we have modified colonials, so I think in keeping with the neighborhood architecturally, why not another style? I mean, it's not, that's how I feel. Even though it doesn't count on the outside, I know it's above the lot coverage, but I think that all of the things going forward that would benefit, he is losing interior living space by doing the 15-inch walls, which I know it's that's not calculated, but I think that we should take that into consideration as well. I know I will. I think that we need more people thinking along these lines. I do not think that he answered Mr. McNamara's question about the road. You could have, in my opinion, you could have rotated this house to achieve what Mr. McNamara was asking. But all in all, I like it. Thank you.
All right, David?
When I first looked at this file, I looked at the plan, and I said, seems like it's trying to fit a big house in a tight little lot, but through testimony, it seems like it works fine from what he's trying to achieve, but I think Ken was driving at something with regards to lot coverage. Even though it's not I don't know, it sounds like a crazy amount, I can see why, you like certain things, but if we were to think about paring down lot coverage, there is avenues, I'm sure they would love the storage and the screened-in porch, but,
No
and they
basement.
don't have a basement. But, because everybody was really hammering home those lot coverages. But overall, I don't have a problem with the home.
Patty?
I'm okay.
Okay. Ken?
So I was prepared to be very opposed to this because of the lot coverage issues, the very tight sidelines, still non-conforming, and front yard setback. And, when you, as I said at the beginning, when you tear something down, you got a whole blank slate to work with. And you've made a very compelling argument for energy conservation, and it's not an excessive house. Nonetheless, I do think there are some things that could be done with the plans, including the possibility of more over-garage storage and, maybe that needs to be like a slightly higher roof line.
Yeah.
That little tiny storage area, 4x8, which could be pruned, that would at least help you with one sideline. I think you could have almost exactly the same house for all your functional purposes and get closer to the lot coverage. That's sort of where I'm coming from right now. But that said, extremely admirable to try to do something, a project like this, and I don't, I want to be supportive of that, because I think this is, Scott's absolutely right, this is where we need to go.
I agree with that sentiment, but I disagree with the application of the zoning bylaw. This is the perfect, I think, yin and yang, the two cases that we heard tonight. It's not all about the calculation of lot coverage. Here we've got only a minor increase over the coverage, and it's only a minor increase in the coverage itself. Over. It's going from 11.55 to 21.58. As Mr. Roy even, reminded us of Section 216 and the adequacy of the site. It may be a laudable project, and it gets constricted because of the construction, but is it appropriate for this site? And here's the part that bothers me. It's not the coverage. It is, and this is why our policy is written that way, it's the bulk of it. And you go from a small house, and we know they're going to get larger. And I was initially moved by the lack of a basement. We've talked about this before, the need for storage. However, what's happened is the storage that would be in the basement hasn't made this house larger. If the back porch, or the screened-in porch, were what was required to provide the basement storage, I'd say, okay, that makes sense, but it's an elective kind of thing, and people have the right to elect what they want for homes. My concern is, even with the hedge gone, you'll drive by this house and you will see nothing but house. There is just minor windows of yard that go past it. So, just my opinion, but I'm less concerned about the percentage coverage. I don't think that tells the whole story, and that's what we found when we were developing this policy. It doesn't tell the whole story. And again, far be it for me to redesign, and that's why I asked the question about what happens if it was reoriented. But forget about the energy efficiency and all of the rest, because laudable but desired by the applicant. If the house was oriented differently and you had the same lot coverage, I wouldn't be troubled by it at all, because it wouldn't be bulky. Two larger houses, and that's on either side, and that's what happens. And now what happens is you'll see just a wall of structures that goes around that corner. So I don't know. I mean, the rest of you.
Well, so that's where I'm saying, Matt, can we make the garage a little smaller in its length of house?
Yeah.
Get rid of that little storage room.
Mr. Foreman, should I answer that? Can I answer, or should I not?
Let's have, we're going to have discussion
sorry.
first.
I would like an
Okay, I didn't know for sure.
I would like an answer from him, but I mean, I'm posing,
Right.
we might not get to 20%,
And I'm not concerned about the 20 versus the 21.
but we might not be 10 feet from each sideline.
That's right.
And, so I think maybe in that respect, we're sort of saying the same thing. We've got a house going from, 10 feet on one sideline to 10 feet on the other sideline, that is going to present a wall of house.
That's right.
And if they could do it within the, percent lot coverages, there's nothing we could do about it, because that's, if they had all the setbacks, et cetera.
Well, they don't mean, it's still
I
a special
understand,
permit.
I understand. So, so here we have, we're gonna tear down, start over, and we still have these issues. That, how might we reduce those impacts and still achieve, because I really think we want to support the achievement of this energy efficiency. I just think that.
But the applicant's got, they know that, that's why they come to us. I mean, with suggestions and ways to make this project work. It's as much up to the applicant as it is to us to help make this project work. I agree 100% with you. And it's not like we're adding on, or we're raising and reconstructing, and that's why I harped a little bit on his point, where he's asking you to kind of work here to help us help you, and sometimes we get absolutely no.
If we looked at this strictly by the numbers, 10-foot setbacks are allowed, not a problem. 2.5 stories are allowed, not a problem. So if you looked at this in the abstract, you'd say, those things make sense. But then when you go out there and you look at it and you see, again, what had been a 1-story house presenting itself to the street with only, 24 feet? I don't know, Tom, I'm not really good at that. And now you have the entire front, except the setback. And a 1.5-story, it's a dramatic change in the appearance. And that's why just strictly going by the numbers doesn't do it. It's then looking at it on the property. And thank you very much for the architectural rendition.
Yeah.
That's very helpful. Unfortunately, it sort of makes my point more. And that's just my opinion. So
I didn't pick the colors, but.
Excuse me?
I didn't pick the colors.
No, the colors.
I like the colors.
You do?
All right. So
It
My
does look,
birthday.
So where do we go from here?
it does look tight on the property line, but as far as you're saying a wall of houses, I can envision that. I wouldn't get that feel, but it would be nice to see some more space in between the property lines. Don't get me wrong, because on the plan, they have stockade fence. I'm not sure if it's the Roy's or the abutters fence, but that is there. That gives the appearance of making everything tighter, but I just see a big house in a trapezoidal lot myself. That's what I see when I went there. I'm looking at the stakes, I'm like, it's a pretty big house going in a tight area. It's like, it seems like it's set back just to where it has to be.
And what did we say the bump out was for, and that added?
a little bit of
Storage
storage
for
was
lawnmowers.
this bump out, I'm not sure of that.
I mean, that would certainly help you by a few feet
4 feet.
In the back. And then in the front, you'd gain quite a bit more. I mean, your setbacks would still be the same on the other side, but at least you'd be,
Yeah.
So were you at,
Yeah, well, number one, the stockade fence appears at the front of the property to be on Mr. Roy's property, and in the back it appears to go over. You know, my
Can we let
concern
Mr. Roy
is,
give us some feedback?
my concern is, these setbacks are tight. And how many times have people had to come back here because they didn't make a setback, or you've made a condition, you know, to give a little, these are tight. I mean, they are right to the 10-foot. If there's any way that they could somehow cut back to where it's not exactly at 10 feet, because you don't want them to have to come back and get a variance, because what are you gonna do then? You
is
know?
there any way to decrease the walls from 15 in, from the outside circumference of that?
we've said a lot of things. Let's give Mr. Roy the opportunity to comment on
Without into
what our thinking is.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying in terms of, you know, this corner here, which is this thing here. There were two reasons for it. One is it added a little bit of character to the house in a way, but it also added some storage. You know, that's, I think, about 15 feet to the fence if you go horizontally. The 10 is really to the rear corner. Oh, perpendicular, 17 feet.
It's the 10-foot
So
setback.
if you look to the fence, it's 17, that corner. But I'd be willing to take that out. I mean, I would. I mean, I would have, you know, even though I think it looks nicer this way, frankly, but, I mean, if the board wants, I'll do it. I mean, I don't want to, you know, I don't really want to delay it much longer, I'll be honest with you. So I'd be willing to do that, and that would, I just don't think it looks quite as nice, and I'll give, it isn't a lot of storage, I must admit. So, I mean, if that helps,
So you still have a tight setback on that?
the rear, in the rear, yeah.
And
Now, what Tom did when he was working with us, he said, let's make sure we do it like 10 feet or 10'2" rather, it's 10.2. Because he says when you lay it out, we'll make sure, he'll be there, and we'll make sure that that thing goes in. Because he's already, we also put in the concrete board boundaries there, so that they're all there now, so that it'll be easier to make sure we don't mess it up, you know? So, I mean, that's what Tom had suggested, let's make it 10 foot, 2 inches, basically.
Is there, I mean, anything you can take out of the garage?
Yeah, I guess we could. We could if that was, could take,
I mean, even 6 inches?
I was thinking 3 inches or so, because it's already just 23 now, so
Well,
it gets a
that's,
little
you know,
tough
that's
to.
what I can't tell looking at the plan.
Yeah, it is 23, that's what it is. I don't know if it's dimensioned very easily, but,
I gotta believe that electric car's not a 79 Lincoln Continental either.
no, it's little.
You know what I mean,
This
size-wise.
is true.
So I don't
Probably
think,
put it on top of the other car.
True.
Put a lift in there, will you?
Batteries are heavy.
Batteries, yeah.
and I think Ken did touch on, you know, use that up, you know, above the garage storage. But even
Here was
with,
the
but I'm
thing
looking
there.
at it like this, with the, even when he does the arrays on the house itself, with that bump out, the sunroom, to me, it just looks like a lot of house on,
That
a
is
lot
gonna
that
increase.
appears, you know, talk about bulk, that's when, we've talked about that before, that's when I'd really start feeling bulk.
Yeah, see, that was one of the thoughts we had, because there's a couple of issues with raising this roof. It does add to the bulk. I would get more storage, I
Yeah,
agree.
it does, but it,
And the other thing I was feeling is that, what I was told is that the building inspector's gonna give me a hard time thinking it's a bedroom or something, because he can't, you know, we're not gonna be able to walk in there, so it'll be just for storage, is really. So I didn't wanna get into, you know, any problems on that end where they say, well, you really need to treat this as some sort of bedroom or something.
That would be the Board of Health, not the building department.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And this board would condition.
Yeah, we won't put anything in there, for sure.
So, Mr. Chairman, what's the question is, what is the applicant willing to do to decrease?
I would take this off, does that help, Scott?
I'm running through the,
Yeah, all right.
Can I ask one more quick
that
thing?
certainly helps me.
Well, I mean, you're not that far off, and Matt, he hit on, I mean, it takes up the whole front of that lot, and we're just asking for a little bit to try to
Yeah.
help
All right.
make this go forward for you, and to sit here and go back and forth, you have to be willing to say to the board what you're willing to do, so we can make, I know personally, a decision on which way I'm going to vote.
Good, all right.
Can I ask,
Here's what I would suggest.
Is that all right,
We
Mr.
could
Chairman? I mean,
Take
that-
this off. You know, that, just take it off. That picks up 4 feet here. And, you know, if I took, I don't know, 4 inches off the garage, that way it'll move, there'll be plenty of room now to the corner.
I'm sure you have 2 bumps out.
Yes.
You have that one short bump, and then you have is that a 3,
If he does what, the two things he just said,
5 foot.
the 4 inches off the garage is gonna also reduce the
Footprint.
footprint quite a
Yeah,
bit.
it will, yeah.
So, I think
It's
that's
gonna be very close.
a huge amount of concession for the applicant to give us.
What, I'm sorry, what was,
Take 4 inches off the garage and
Okay.
take.
and it's not gonna affect him on his gable end. I mean, he's still gonna have the 10-foot setbacks on that, but at least,
but you also have the roof overhang also on both sides, right?
Yeah, I don't know, that doesn't go into the footprint though, right? So it's just the house itself. The overhangs are there for a design reason to
You know what I'm saying?
protect the house.
Yeah, but I think they,
I'm sorry, Mr. Roy, did you say 4 feet off the garage as
4
well?
inches.
Yes, you see this?
4 inches. I know the 4-foot bump out.
That bump out, the 4-foot bump out,
And-
we could eliminate it.
And then what about the garage? Did you say?
4
you-
inches narrower,
4 inches narrow, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Just on that.
and that
because
would
we're-
make it,
We're not design folks, and we don't
No.
pretend to be, but, you know, can you look at your rendition there, the photo? Look at the roof line.
Yeah, see that bump there?
What's that? What's the distance? If you take 4 inches back, are we going to have, or are you cutting it all the way back to that roof line? No.
it's gonna
Yeah,
go
you'll
all
have
the
a
way back
4-inch
to the back
reveal
of the
now.
garage. I can walk over there, but you don't want me to, right?
trust me, you don't want him.
that's this.
But he's not coming all the way back to
Here it is.
that.
Right, use that, that's
Mr. Mayor.
perfect.
He can't,
There it
if he
is.
comes all the way back there, he
Here we
can't,
go.
doesn't have a 2-car garage
Ken,
anymore.
look,
Right. So this here would go, right? If we took
Right, I
that
got
out.
that,
And then this here would be 4 inches narrower,
right,
Which is
and that
like
would make that corner
okay.
a little more easy to
like
hit
the wall
the,
thickness.
Maybe
yeah.
wall thickness would.
I'll just move the whole garage, yeah, sure.
The,
I mean, I could still do
See,
it
I'm
now. I
talking
mean,
about
it's
the
doable.
overhang.
Oh, yeah. David raised a question about the overhangs, and I know that there's certain cases.
That's what, the question I was gonna ask, if
Yeah.
these setbacks were from the foundation or the finished walls exteriorly.
The setbacks, well, that's a good question, but that's not addressing exactly what David had in mind.
Oh,
but-
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. If you could answer
No.
that question, Tom, or Dan?
The
Finished wall?
dimensions on this plan.
Finished wall or
From finished wall
foundation?
to-
Finish wall,
Foundation.
finish
Yeah,
wall.
because in the past, people have cantilevered over the
No, we're not
foundation
gonna
to get
cantilever
around
the
one,
house,
right?
but the roofs overhang, all roofs overhang to some degree. And I specified a little bit more because it does protect the house from weathering.
Right.
And the windows.
But from a zoning perspective, there's case law in terms of certain overhangs.
The size of them?
Right, and so
And
where does
the
this fit
finished
in?
walls count within the setbacks?
Okay, but what about an overhang on the roof?
It depends the size of it, and that's something for Mr. Gore to determine.
The only reason I think it's a valid question is that, you know, to reserve my comments for a moment about sort of cutting this back to sort of make it work, and yet if the overhang really gets measured, if the setback really gets measured from the overhang, what have we really achieved?
Well, I think that's something that if this board does approve, that's definitely a condition you write in, that they run that by Mr. Gore and then come back at least to the office with information based on that. Because that's something that they're gonna have to, regardless.
Well, then let me ask this,
No, but look at
what
it
is
here.
the overhang? What is the amount of the overhang?
Yeah, I think it's a foot, something like that.
So that if Mr. Gore were to come back and say, the setback is really from the overhang and not from the wall, right now you'd have a 9-foot setback, which would be
A variance.
non-conforming.
A
Yeah.
variance.
Yeah,
Which is, And I guess that's why it's an important question that David raised. I don't see how we can approve without knowing that answer.
Would you know what, excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Please
Tom
don't.
Bunker, are you aware of what the 8th edition is? Because I know that it changed from the 6th edition when I used to inspect, and it changed something about the overhangs and eaves, so. That's something that you would have to defer to Mr. Gore.
Because if we were to try to do all of this and squeak in,
4 inches here,
and then to have the overhang throw us off, we haven't accomplished anything, so,
Well, but I think I'm not the expert here on this, but it seems clear to me a footprint is supposed to be the house.
Unfortunately, that's not the case.
No?
No,
It's not?
and I think that's what Sari's
That's
trying to
confusing.
say. The new building code edition, just like you mentioned about the steps, previously you didn't take those into consideration.
Right.
Now you do. There's also case law in terms of second floor balconies, for example, that have to be counted as part of the...
Because it's part of the living.
No, that's not necessarily...
It's
the case.
airspace that can be built under, so it's part of the lot coverage
That's right, so
and setback.
I'm a little bit hesitant to
Right,
recommend...
well, we don't
to the
have
board-
any of those in this case.
No,
Right.
but we do have
Overhangs.
the overhang.
I don't recall that. But look, can we then, for now, continue and get the answers to those questions?
Yep.
And does that, and let me ask then, if there were some modest changes in the plans, could those be brought to the continuation?
Absolutely. I mean, let me sort of recap, and I think that we
Then
still-
we'd have
we
a
still need-
plan
right.
to actually approve, which would be better.
Right now, it appeared that the applicant was willing to modify the house to some degree by taking that bump out, the garage back a little bit. And it sure sounded like the board felt that that was a good suggestion, at least members of the board. I have to tell you honestly, to me, that doesn't really change the bulk a whole lot. What it really does do, and I appreciate that part, is if we're measuring the setback from the exterior walls, it addresses the concern that Sari brought up about being able to do the project without having to come back and look for a variance later. It takes 4 to approve this, so I'm certainly not going to argue to hold it up. I just don't think it accomplishes, in my view, that little bit of a thing, and in terms of the bulk, it actually, I think, taking it away detracts from the appearance of the house to a degree, but it allows it to be built where I don't think the current one could be built. But really, I think the issue that holds us up completely is not knowing the answer to the overhang.
Can this be voted with the stipulation that,
Let's continue it, and then we get a revised plan and the answer to the overhang question, and we have a solid...
that way we
answer.
see the plans with everything that's coming off, come off?
Could I ask a question
Can
about
I-
the overhang?
Hold on just a second, Tom, let me ask.
Can I make a suggestion that you finish your discussion briefly, hopefully? Because look at the time, you've got to make a vote to move on to 9:45, but, and then, so that if you do continue this hearing, that it can be a brief one?
Yes.
And that we can put it on October 18th, so that
I'm
it
all
doesn't
for
have
that.
to
Me
be 2 months, which,
Because these people all got bumps on the, what have been early.
I realize that, but I'm saying, what I'm saying is the board seems that they're very close
Well,
to a decision. If they can get you more information from the
That's
building
fine with me.
inspector on
The 6th of
this.
September had nothing to do with the board, it was something that...
That's right, but these people were,
well, again,
I know.
So if you want to finish, and that way they have a total
all right.
idea.
I'm sensing from the board that revised plans that were suggested by Mr. Roy, again, I wouldn't waste a whole lot of money on revising the plans if you find out from Mr. Gore that it's going to be the overhang measurement, because then you really have to look
Yeah, I
at
can
whether
go
or not
talk to him.
this house
Yeah,
is going
Tom,
to fit or
did you-
not. Tom, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I'm troubled by the overhang thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it in the zoning that certain building parts are not included?
No.
No.
In the
It's all been the building commissioner uses now it's
No.
the 8th edition, and so that's,
But the 8th edition,
Zoning is
specifically
silent
addresses-
on that, and what it is that's why you have the building commissioner give this board information, because it is based on the building code. That's why we've deferred several things to the building commissioner that aren't clear to us, because it's in the building code. The zoning is silent.
The roof has always been
It doesn't
part
say
of
that.
the building.
It is, exactly.
So I don't see how
Hence
it changes.
And
the
exactly
extension
why
of the setback.
you may very well have a setback problem, because it is part of the building.
Anything that's part of the structure.
It was in the 7th edition also, that's,
The
Yeah,
7th
and-
edition is
and
where they
in-
lost the steps.
And in the 6th edition, we had no steps either, so we
right,
never
now you
counted
understand about
setback.
steps, I know it used to be precast
Well,
steps and it wasn't
Tom,
part of
with
the
all-
building.
Given the lateness of the hour, we're not going to win this debate by having it. So why the board is suggesting a continuation to
October 18th.
October 18th, with clarification on the setback related to the overhang. And it sounds like the board would be interested in those change plans.
Regarding calculations and square footage, right?
Yeah, the cutting back of that, and so would need the revised calculations on that as well.
Can I ask you a question? What can I do to avoid continuing? It's been, it's just.
Nothing.
You can't,
Can't?
Well,
There's no way, there's no.
if Mr. Gore were here this evening to give us that opinion, that would be a different thing. He's not.
And I don't know how you do all of the other setback questions and all, in general, then what do you do with roofs and stuff? And even.
If
Often
we-
they're not this close.
If
Oh, I see, all right, yeah, so.
You would
So
be,
it's not an issue.
Because if they're like 4 inches or something.
You know, if they're
well, no,
15
it's
feet.
not, they're two, it's the setback. You're right on the setback.
Yeah,
10
right,
feet.
okay.
So if the overhang, which is, and you couldn't tell us how much it was, is hanging over,
Yeah.
you'd need a variance, you wouldn't need just a special permit, so we
Yeah.
can't do that.
Right.
Could I just add one question? If it's counted toward the overhang, are the roofs going to be counted toward lot coverage also?
Yes.
Oh.
Screw all this up.
It,
But what about every house, basically, that gets rid of the 25-foot setback, and you have that, I mean, are we
I'm
creating
sorry,
lots of
I,
houses?
Tom, I couldn't hear you because Ken was saying something, so.
No, I'm just wondering, I mean, how many people, is this the first case, how many people know about
No.
this? The
No,
roof?
absolutely not.
I mean, should there be something outward, what he says, I mean, people put a house 25 feet from the street line, but now there's a roof overhang,
Well,
creating an issue for variances everywhere.
Again, when you're using an architect, when you're using other experts, they should probably be aware of the building code. We noticed the
Yeah.
problem, we're saying, go back.
Or get clarification.
That's
When you
all.
mention the front, Tom, you always have a step, or you have a
Oh,
porch or
okay.
something like that, so the front setback. We haven't seen something this close in a long time. We've seen it once before, and the board made certain conditions on it, to where it came, and I believe you might have worked that. It
But
was like
there-
2.5
there-
years ago.
There are cases, obviously, that don't come before you, where a house might be 10.5 feet from a lot line, but then the roof is,
Well, that's where you need to get
Didn't come
clarification.
before.
And the board's unsure of it,
Yeah.
so that's the one, but
But October 18th is what? It's
2 weeks.
a couple of weeks away. We should get it all resolved.
So is this something I need to do, to talk to them, is that, or do you do it, or do we both do it?
No, the applicant is responsible for coming back.
Fine, I'll be here tomorrow, I can tee it up with them, hopefully.
Yeah, so, if you have any questions, follow up with Sari.
Yeah.
Again, there are two issues that we're talking about. It's clarifying whether or not this roof overhang is going to be what's measured to the setback. That will change the calculations, et cetera. And your redesign of taking that bump out and bringing back the 4 inches. And I think you have at least a sufficient number of folks that would vote in favor of
Yeah,
that.
all right. Okay.
Okay?
We'll
So,
give it a shot.
is there a motion to continue this to October 18th at 6:30?
Second.
Mr. Foreman and Mr. Haddad, all those in favor of continuing the hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous vote.
I make a motion, we go extend the meeting to 9:45.
Second?
Yes, there's a motion to extend the second.
Mr. Roy,
All those in favor say
get
aye.
something in writing
Aye.
from Mr. Gore so the board won't have any
Opposed?
questions.
Unanimous vote.
Okay. Or send me he can send me an email, and that way I have it in his name and everything.
Okay, good. Yeah, yes, sir. Yep, that works. I just don't want to lose anything.
I can keep the extra one of these.
Yes. And the pictures, I think, are all, those are the second set. No, there's some that are, I don't think these.
The hearing's not over. It should be out in public or whatever, but...
All right, our next application, thank you very much for waiting, has already been read into the record. It's 7412 Gregory Rucky. And sir, whenever you're ready, if you could just summarize for us.
I'll put them up if I need them.
All right.
My name's Greg Rookie, and I'm at 10 Hunt Street, North Falmouth. And sitting here tonight, I did get a little bit of an education because in terms of what's here. But I'm actually a little bit confused, and I guess I'll be looking to for you to help me out a little bit in terms of the discussion here. Hunt Street is part of the new Silver Beach area as well, and we had a discussion about that area earlier this evening. However, Hunt Street is a little bit different than the rest of New Silver Beach, in that most of it was developed, I think, in the 70s. At the same time, Wild Harbor Estates was turned into a development, and there's only one house on the street, a small older one that was probably built in the when most of the houses in New Silver Beach were built. There's I believe 20 lots on the street, and till recently all the buildable lots were built, and then they sewered the area, so a couple of the lots became available or buildable, I guess, at this point. The majority of houses were ranches until maybe 5-6 years ago, and there's been a lot of additions and developments, more down towards the beach, and then a new house that was built at the end of the street. I think there's 20 properties altogether. Most of the lots are not, I guess I couldn't say there was an average lot size.
So I can save you a little bit of time. The ones that you had to suffer through were coverage above the 20%. Where they were actually looking to increase beyond that. Your application isn't addressing that. It's simply because you have a pre-existing non-conforming structure that you want to make additions to.
Yes.
But you don't have to go through all of that burden of the percentage coverages or anything else, okay? So just save you a little bit of heartache.
All right, great, because I was trying to figure out how I was going to do that.
Well, he's concerned because he is increasing it 2%.
Yeah, but it's not going above 20, right?
Excuse me?
No, we are.
It's existing at 26.45. He's going to 28.33.
Yes.
The lot is 7,500 square feet.
Now, that's the discussion that we had earlier. I guess what I'd like to do is try to get to the chase, since it is late here. We have a very large deck in the back of the house, and we had talked about and there's also an outside shower and a bulkhead area that's all there. The back of the house, this area here, is where we're talking about. Currently, there exists a bulkhead entrance, and there's an outside shower there, and the deck is off on the plot plan here, but the deck is off the back of the house here. The deck is, I believe, 14
by 26.
26. And what I propose to do is, because we want to rebuild the deck anyhow, is to make the deck 12 by 26. Take the 4 feet that I want to put here off of the deck, and so it'd be a net zero coverage change on the addition. The only thing I want to ask you, because I don't know, the discussion that we just had, is that we do want to put on the front of the house again, if you've gone down the neighborhood, our house is different than everybody else's. Our house looks like something that came from the 1970s, and out of California. My dad built it at the time, and it was an acorn house, and, it was a very prestigious kind of design at that point, but it doesn't fit in with the neighborhood. And what we wanted to do is make it more of a Cape Cod look to it, and that's why we wanted to take on the front of it, put this bump out already exists, and we were just gonna flatten it out by putting a porch above where we wanted to put the two-car garage under. So, I don't know, if that counts as an overhang, or whether that counts as coverage, because nothing could be built under it. But we're just taking the porch here, and then what we wanted to do was put a two-car garage under, where I had to go down on grade, and we had it engineered. It's less than 24 inches from the street level to the slab on my basement. That'll allow us to put a two-car garage under.
It would be part of your lot coverage.
Okay.
It's attached to the structure. It is part of the structure.
Okay.
So it would.
Well, what I meant was, because the roof line comes out, we had that discussion about the roofs and stuff, But again, I don't have any problems with regard to frontage or, any of the lot boundary, measurements.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, we'll look at the file, and then I'm sure we'll have some questions for you, sir.
Okay.
Water Department, 0 fee, 1-inch service exists, application plan required. Planning, no comment. Natural Resources, no comment. Health Department states that you're on town sewer. Concom.
No, don't open it if it's closed.
Okay, it's a surprise.
After.
Building, no comment.
Just a letter in support from Don and Susan Flynn.
That's it.
Okay. All right. Do you want to start, Scott?
Sure.
Thanks.
Mr. Rucky, due to the increased load over the new garage, I noticed while I was out there, there's a crack and a repair in the existing foundation. Is that going to be replaced?
The foundation itself? No, but I could certainly have it repaired.
You understand what I'm asking, though, right? On the,
It's on the side.
it looks like the foundation is settled and there's a crack that's been
Yeah.
epoxied, but
Yeah,
you're going to be increasing the load over that foundation.
That crack actually doesn't go right through the whole foundation. It was just on the outside. I put that in there so that it didn't, expand out, further. And that was, my dad built the house, like I told you, so that was probably 15 years ago that I put that epoxy in there.
So the ground all settled around it has nothing to do with that crack?
I don't think so.
Okay. So I guess the answer to my question is no, you're going to cut the front of that foundation out, and you're not going to replace that part of the foundation?
No.
Okay. And on your plans, it doesn't show anything for drainage at the bottom, at the throat of your garage. How are you going to attain drainage?
The intent was to put a, what they call a channel drain with a dry well, at the base, as well as taking the grade of the driveway, because right now it's a circular driveway, most of that circle's going to go away and it's going to go straight in. And what I wanted to do is swale it up, so most of the driveway was sloping down towards the street, and then down towards, and then that part that was underneath the porch, and at the downside part of the swale, was minimized.
You wouldn't happen to have any idea what the water table is, where that dry well is going to exist, because of course it's going to exist at the level of the drainage drain or below.
Yeah, it'd be, like I said, it'd be, 24 inches down from where it is right now.
I'd just be curious to know where groundwater was in relation to the bottom of that dry well.
Oh, I did know that.
To help with its effectiveness, I mean.
I know it was well below,
Okay.
2 feet. I mean, it was like, I think it was 8.
Okay.
But I couldn't be positive about that, but I seem to remember that was the case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Scott? Scott, thank you, Scott. David?
The shed that's remaining,
Yeah.
but you
The
get,
intent was to.
yeah, but you're getting rid of the outdoor shower and what the bulkhead says. And
And reducing the porch.
in your structures, they're gonna, like Cerise said, there's gonna increase a little bit, but structures and paving, that's going down 5%.
Yes, all the paving on the side of the house is going to
That
go away.
leads up to the shed.
Yeah, leading up
Yeah.
to the shed, that's all coming out, and that's going to be grass. And then, then the two-car garage will have a standard-sized driveway in front of that, and then everything to the left is going to be all landscape, so all that pavement comes out. And the front stairs are also going to be eliminated, and it's going to be the stairway is going to be part of the hardscape going up into the house.
All right, no further questions, thank you.
Thank you. Patty?
The existing deck and steps in the front, as you look at the front house on the left, they're going to be removed? I can't remember what they look like.
No.
The stairs?
Yeah, right here. You go right up to the lot line, it looks like a...
On the east side of the, northeast side of the house.
Yeah, it's on the east side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're just, it's a set of 2 wooden stairs that go onto a side door into the house.
So there's no deck?
There's no deck.
Oh, there's I see.
Just a
I
landing.
see what it is, a
Yeah,
landing.
Actually, it's 1 step in a landing.
A landing, okay.
You have to get back to the microphone, that's okay.
Yeah, I probably do too. It's a land, so that's my, I'm okay
What's the question,
with
sir?
the question.
All right, thanks. Ken?
Actually, I have a question for Sari, if she could remind me. Decks count on lot coverage, or, structure for the house, right? Patios,
Total lot coverage,
but not as part of the structure.
not as part of the structure. It's considered landscaping, and it depends if it's pervious or impervious, but it's 90% of the time it is included in the
So
total
one
lot
way-
coverage.
One way you can significantly reduce coverage is to convert your deck to a patio somehow.
Exactly. That's where it's recommended quite a bit, by doing a landing and steps down and then having your brick patio or something like that. But if you'll notice, they've reduced their total lot coverage down to 36.27, so they have less than 4% to go up, or it's up to the board if they keep it at 41.9 if they're getting rid of a structure.
Right, they're not non-conforming with respect to the.
Total lot coverage.
Total lot coverage.
They are
So
existing. Their proposed is going to decrease
It
in.
is decreasing, but they are with respect to the structures, but this would then reduce, if, just a thought experiment, you were to get rid of, what does that work out to, 300 and some square feet, I think. 377 square feet of 14 and a half by 26 deck and make it into patio.
What does that turn it into from a deck size, I'm sorry?
I think what Mr. Foreman was saying is that if the deck were a patio,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be considered a structure.
It wouldn't be part of the house
And it would
coverage.
bring down the 28.33 structural coverage on the lot to something less than that.
Okay. I mean, we certainly considered that, and, and will consider it. One of the things I would tell you is that, because of the height that it would be, you'd have like probably 5 or 6 steps to go down to a patio out of the back doors. So out of
Right,
these,
you'd have to have some steps.
these slidings, yeah, so you need to have,
Something, yeah.
some deck and, to be able to get down.
Are those sliders out there?
Yes.
Yeah, so he'd have to have a landing
Yeah,
as
you'd have to
wide
have
as the
something. You'd have to have
sliders,
something, but you
and then
could-
out 4 feet approximately with steps down.
But I'm just saying you could get rid of a lot and end up maybe not asking for any significant increase in lot coverage, in
Yeah.
structure coverage at all.
I mean,
You go with that.
I would entertain that. I mean, the other option is to get rid of the shed. I mean, so it's kind of, do you need my decision on that, or just a square footage
Well, we're just going to
commitment?
ask some questions first,
Okay,
okay? Because there may be more that comes out of this once we all get a chance to ask
All right.
questions.
Excuse
But I
me,
mean-
Mr. Chairman, could we have a motion to go to 10?
Oh, sure.
Made
Make
the
a mo-
motion.
I'll
Go ahead,
second it.
Scott.
To go to 10, thank you. It was David and Scott. Thank you, Mel.
In whatever order.
I have no further questions.
Mr. Rucky, on the southwest corner, you don't have the plot plan there.
I have it here.
Okay. I just want to clarify the setbacks. The existing side yard setback is 9 feet, or 9.7 feet on this one. And that's from where to where? 'Cause and the proposed is going to 10.3, but I'm not sure. There's a proposed addition. I don't know how that makes it an improved side yard setback.
What the architect did was he took because of the way the lot comes in, he actually took put a jog into the side of the house. So that jog, I believe, the measurement, in from that jog to the sideline, increased the sideline.
So what was there before the proposed addition that caused the setback to be only 9.7?
Nothing. I mean, it's.
Well, it looks
it's-
like there's a couple of squares there, I can't tell.
Well, one of them's a shower and the other one's a bulkhead.
All right, so it was the shower that caused it to get,
No,
no?
no. Shower's a fence.
Okay.
But I think if,
The bulkhead's-
I'd like to see the setback a little bit further up the building, because I believe it still stays at 9.7.
Well, I guess that's what I'm trying to get at in many ways. If you look closely at that, it comes down a straight line and then it jogs in.
And we would prefer, I would prefer to have it straight up, just so, just to, where the current footprint of the foundation is just to, come straight back and just.
So you'd prefer to have it continue to be more non-conforming than this is proposed?
Well,
No, keep it as as the existing nonconformity at 9.7 is what he's saying, instead
Right,
of
so it'd
jog
be
in.
more non-conforming than what this shows here, what the new proposed.
It would be as existing, yes. The setback would remain the same at 9.7.
Okay. So, are there any reductions in the nonconformities? I mean, you're going for, this board generally considers increases in certain areas if there are decreases in others. Your front yard setback is staying the same? Although, that was the other question I had for you. You had brought up about that porch over where the garage is going. Has that been counted in the lot coverage?
yeah.
Okay.
It was counted in the lot coverage and it was counted in the setback.
It's counted in the setback. So the setback is not improved from the front yard. The setback on the side yards with this idea hasn't changed. So nothing's improved, you're just looking for greater lot coverage.
There's one non-conforming setback, and that's 9.7. The front and the other side
Right.
are conforming, and then the shed is non-conforming.
Right.
It doesn't appear to be, it isn't, it's less than a foot away from the property line, and it requires a 3-foot setback.
Right.
And what I was saying was that, the shower going away and the bulkhead going away, those are parts that are being, I guess they're not going away, that, what I was proposing was that they be included into what I was proposing.
Showers are not included in lot coverage.
Okay.
It's not considered a structure, it's a fence around a piece of plumbing. And it's always been the building commissioner's opinion that it is not, unless it has a roof over it.
Okay,
That's attached to the structure.
Yeah, Mr. Woolward calculated in as part of the coverage.
Yeah, he usually does. A
Yeah.
couple of engineers do, and
So
it's
it
not
was-
considered lot
It
coverage.
was calculated into the coverage.
So in fact, the existing coverage is less than the 26.45, and we're getting a greater increase in lot coverage.
Well, it's, no, because it's in proposed as
The other way
well.
around,
No, it's in proposed and existing.
right.
So basically,
It's a wash.
it's a wash. It's
Yeah.
gonna
I
be,
thought the shower was being replaced by the proposed addition.
You know, that's a pun.
oh. Yeah, you're right, Matt, excuse me.
So actually, the existing lot coverage is less than 26.45, so it's actually a greater spread, because there is
Right.
no new shower.
Oh, there's no new shower.
Right.
Okay. All right.
It's very tiny,
I've asked my questions. Anyone else have any further questions, Scott?
I'd like to go back downstairs with you.
Yep.
Sorry, that sounded wise, I didn't mean it to sound like.
It's late.
Let me form this in a. Do you anticipate having are we to understand that you're going to use the existing cellar and the cellar floor as your garage floor?
Correct.
So I believe, or are you aware of any regulations that demand a lip to retain, so you're making preparations for that to happen?
So that's what this is right here. So that'll
To
be-
catch any fuel.
Right. Not only that, I also want to, make sure it's like, keeps any water, from going this way.
And pitch.
Actually, that's one I know that the building code does require in terms of the fire protection.
Correct.
That the lip has to be there, and the other things that go along.
And certain separation.
So how do you propose to achieve pitch from the front of your garage to your drain?
Well, so the other part of it is I was also expecting to put a dry well here in the center.
I'm talking about inside the floor.
That's what he said.
Oh, inside the floor?
Inside the garage itself, I wanted to put a dry well, a dry well and a catch basin, right there, so that, in the wintertime, I was thinking that when you came in with all salt in the cars and stuff like that, the water would have someplace to drain.
So there will be no pitch in there, just to the drain itself?
Yeah.
And what do you anticipate the headroom being in that new, if you leave everything, you have 7-6 walls?
Yeah, it's at least 7.5 feet, actually, I think we have an 8-foot ceiling right now, and I don't see that changing.
Okay,
Yeah, it's 8 feet in there.
thank you.
Sir, any questions?
I'm just concerned about what you said, that you may be amenable to doing as far as cutting back the lot coverage. Did I misunderstand you by you saying take off a piece of that deck, that it would be a wash in the 2% increase?
No, it would be, what I'm saying is that if I took 4 feet, because the deck in this addition are the same
Right.
length. So if I took 4 feet off of the deck
And that's
across
the
its whole
26 by 14 deck?
length, right,
Okay.
that would match to what we proposed as the addition in the back.
I see what you're saying, okay.
Is
I
that-
was just a little confused there.
No,
Thank
but
you.
what I said afterwards was that, if what it is just a coverage thing, could it be the deck, could it be the shed, it's just gotta be square footage. Joanne and I haven't had an opportunity to talk about that, yet, from the questions that we had, and that's why I was just hedging my interests.
I just want to make sure I'm clear on that now. You're suggesting one of the things you may want to think about is the reduction in the size of that deck?
Yes.
And it would be to what size?
26 by 10,
26 by 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
or removing the shed.
Right.
They just haven't discussed it, so.
Or both.
Or some combination. I mean,
Yeah.
well, Matt, you did bring up desirability of reducing the nonconformities as opposed to.
Well, I just want to finish, everyone's got their questions taken care of, there's no one here in the audience. Okay, let's discuss it. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, the project, the goals of the project are fine. There's nothing excessive being asked for. It is a very small house and lot, and we just need to find a way to make it work.
I mean, my quick reaction to it is, I'd rather see the shed gone, because that's definitely a nonconformity that could be improved and that we'd be able to put in our findings.
The only one.
It's supposed to be at least 3 feet back from, and that shrinks the lot coverage a little bit. It does, I mean, you now got a garage in your cellar. Who knows?
Exactly.
I think, to me, that makes a real big difference. Again, you, as we were talking earlier, you drive up on Hunt Street, you look at your house, and well, of course, you've got the fence there, but that's on the inside of the shed. The shed's there. I think this project works with the shed gone. I'm not terribly worried about the deck. I was just sort of saying that, or both, meaning that was up to the board. But again, here's a situation where you're going 26 to 28 or 26 point whatever to 28. And the numbers, you know, again, you take them out of context, they don't mean a whole lot. I think this is a good update of a house. It certainly will fit into that neighborhood. The shed gone, you get rid of one of the nonconformities.
I agree with you, Matt.
And I would also.
It's the only one you can get rid of outside
That's
of
right.
lot coverage.
And I would not force him into doing that 10.3 setback, even though it's on your own proposal.
No.
I'm a little concerned with the fact that they're gonna double the load, cut out the front of the existing foundation, and I have a little bit of experience with settling foundations, and it's been my experience that a crack on the outside of the foundation goes all the way through the foundation.
I
would like.
Disagree with you. I wouldn't disagree with you.
I would like to see a structural engineer's.
That's up to the building department, and with the codes that there are now, chances are it's going to have to be engineered once he excavates and everything, so.
And it's my intent to have it, you know, all engineered as well.
The building department and the codes,
Well, if that's the
Clear.
case, I mean, those were
Require
my
that.
concerns on it.
Yeah, because I mean, the intent was that, you know, across the garage front, you know, that, you know, when these are cut, we wanted to put steel beams, you know, as part of the.
and those have to be engineered.
I wouldn't be able to calculate the load
Me either.
myself anyway. I was just
Yeah.
expressing some concern.
So, I agree with you, Matt. I would say, as proposed, eliminate the shed, but that, the existing 9.7, the proposed 10.3, you don't have a problem with the 10.3 all the way down, just to keep a nice straight line?
Well, how do you do it? You
It's
gotta
not
move the
10
house.
point,
No,
it's
it
not
would be the
10.3.
9.7 all the
Oh,
way
go to
down.
the 9.7?
Exactly, because he's not becoming any more non-conforming, and they did that jig, so
Right.
the proposed addition would be conforming, but
Conforming.
it's not, it doesn't have to be as long as they don't go past the 9.7.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
And the shed is a reduction in a nonconformity, and to me, that's the trade-off. That's what I was trying to say earlier, that generally, there is some reduction in nonconformity as we're
Yeah.
providing some
I don't have any
increases.
problem with that. I mean, we built the shed because I don't want to carry that lawnmower up and down the stairs of the bulkhead. I mean, you know, that's, you know, that was.
Right down the garage now.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's the trade-off in terms.
I feel the same way, because when you're in the street, you can see that shed, but you can't see the deck.
That's right.
And the deck is behind the house.
And it's far enough away from the rear setback that it's, to me, it's not an issue. I'd hate to see them cut down the deck.
Yeah.
And to replace it with a
It
patio.
doesn't.
Even though we count it differently, to me, it doesn't make a whole lot of.
No, it's fine. I think it's a wash in terms of the 4 by 26 and we're not talking about the shop. So, if you're happy, I'm happy.
Okay. Anything else to come before the board? All right, if you've got enough information, I'll entertain a motion to close this hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Foreman and Mr. Zelinski, all those in favor of closing this hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous vote. All right, the action the board would like to take.
Make a motion, we accept this.
Motion to approve the application.
With
uh,
conditions.
With conditions.
With conditions, and that was seconded by Mr. Zelinski. All right, let's work through this. I mean, obviously, it can't be exactly as proposed, because it will be per modified plans. I think we gotta have, sorry, go ahead.
I think it should be per architectural plans.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think you should put per plans, period. And then the second condition would be revision of certified plot plan noted in condition 1 above to show the removal of the shed and the update of the lot coverage. Do you want me to phrase that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I've
except
done
that
that
I'm
before.
not sure it can be per plans, because then we'd stick him with that 10.3.
Well, then you eliminate that or address that in a different condition,
So,
because all the setbacks and everything else is there.
again, I think what we're trying to get at is, that which what we just
Do you want me to
discussed. There
can I
you go.
handle it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one condition is removal of the shed. I mean,
Right.
it's very simple.
Yeah, and the plans, and I think you'll want updated plans at some point, right?
You're going to condition that, yes.
Right, right. And I think the updated plans, when do you want them before?
It has to be before issuance of a building permit, or I won't sign off on the building.
Okay. Right, so we got that taken care of. What are the conditions, Suri?
Per plan, per revised plan as noted in 1 and blah, 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 I'll do that.
Right.
We don't need an as-built because it's going on the same footprint, basically, right?
Yeah, I don't think we need an as-built, in
No.
my opinion.
And then I'll make notation on the 9.7 setback as opposed to the 10.3 for addition.
And as in the findings, I think we've got a reduction in one of the nonconformities. We've got, certainly in keeping with the neighborhood, it's not substantially more detrimental. Our standard 216 standard.
Can I suggest that you
Well,
just
you
say setback on the, what is it?
The addition on the,
I mean, westerly, that's not to exceed
southwest, not to exceed 9.7.
9.7.
Right.
Not to be less than, I guess is what we actually.
Right.
Right.
And then whatever they end up with.
Okay.
All right?
I don't think on that plan was that drain, the French drain Scott was talking about. Does that need to
Well, that's,
get,
it's not really a zoning issue, is it?
It's inside.
Well, I mean, we can certainly put it
Make
as
a-
a condition.
I'm sure it would behoove him to do it. I'm sure he's
Yeah,
going to
do
do
it
it
anyway, but-
I promise you.
Then we'll cover it just as a finding
Yeah.
then, that it,
The drainage will be a finding?
Yep.
Okay.
okay. And I think that's probably it. So all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Unanimous vote. Good luck on the project, thanks for.
Thank you.
Nice job, too.
Thank you for staying as late as you did, and the other thing I want to say is that everybody I've talked to in the town, the water departments, anybody, I've had to go to has been great to work.
That's great to hear, thank you very much.
thank you.
All right. And, Suri, do we have the minutes that you want to have?
We do. Clerk,
Anybody want to buy a shed?
I just want to know what kind of dog you keep in there.
He's a chocolate lab.
I was,
a motion
I
to
was hoping he would be there.
minutes for,
He was probably hoping you were there.
where am I? Minutes for September 20th. I'm
Uh,
okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for September 20th, 2012.
Okay, and this was Sands, Nazaro, T-Ticket, and Bennett. All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous vote, thank you. And
Sorry.
as there is nothing else to come before this meeting, I will adjourn. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.